Get 'em Jimmy, where low shack at. The bottles getting empty up the crack and we stacking chips. All of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced. Leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call a truce. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, July 29th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. Another winning day yesterday. Just 1-2 in MLB, but nice casher on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Got us the glory, got us the cake, and it was a pretty fun game to watch. We needed that late drive and field goal, and then we needed the missed field goal at the end of the first half. Cote at a career-long 49-yard field goal. He's going from 51. He wasn't even fucking close. But you know when something like that happens, you just know money's coming in. You know, you're just like, oh, I'm getting the fucking bounces in this game. And sure enough, it's 24-17, and the Alouettes are driving. And there's very little time, you know, they started driving like 50 seconds left, and Alouettes are driving, and Trevor Harris looks good. Like he's making plays. He's looking good. And he takes a late hit in the back. You know, I guess they kind of thought his head smashed into the ground, but it was a late hit in the back. And he was, man, you know, he took this hard hit, and he got up to give and he got the 15-yard penalty on the late hit, and he, you know, ready to throw it in the end zone, to take his team into overtime or win it with a 2-point conversion. But no, the spotters. The spotter. I spotted it too. I said, get him off the field. He might have hurt himself. They had to pull him from the field. In comes Dominique Davis to throw the pick. And I laughed and laughed. And I'm still smiling about it. But I feel bad for Trevor Harris. He probably deserves better. And the look on his face at the end of the game. Oh, God, I loved it. And we cashed just a little over 400 bills on the double up. So that I know a lot of cappers have been telling me over the last while that, you know, when you're really confident to double up, and I don't mean, you know, first half full game or first 5 full game. I mean, you know, 2 units on each of the spots. So that's the third time I've done it in the last 2 weeks. That's 3-0 on those double up spots. And it feels so good. It feels so good. You know, that's what winning does. It just feels so good. Sun is shining, a little extra nice today. Shout out to all of you guys, and a big shout out to 2 cappers that we love dearly and we are thinking about right now, Puzzler and Tim Steves. We love you guys so much, and we send you energy every day to start our show, as much light and positivity and energy we could possibly send your way. We love you both. We want to get you guys home, and we love you. Vipe NB in there's also our producer. You might have thought the show had a professional producer on it because that intro was so smoothly done, but that was all me. Our man Jose didn't make it home from the strip club last night till about 6:30 in the morning, and he said, interestingly enough, that the strippers were not really open to interviews. Yeah. So he's going to try to get to the show. I don't want him to. I want him to sleep and rest. But he sent me a message when I was up working this morning, and I was like, "What are you doing up?" And he's like, "I just got home." I was like, "Jeez!" And you know that's not like him reeking of liquor, stumbling into his house. That's a you know, I mean, sure, there's some ganja smoke in him, but that's no alcohol. You know, that's just him hosting a strippers boxing match, and so yeah, so he's Damon Santori says, "I want drunk Jose." That. So it was so much fun. The episode was so much fun, but I have been cleaning up my act. I don't drink now from Sunday to Thursday. So it is Friday. So look, I haven't even had a drink since the horse races. So this was the 26er I had for our game, our Friday action of horses last Friday, and I haven't touched it since. So and I'm not going to touch it right now. I think it's important for me to not drink from Sunday to Thursday. Set an example for other booze bags. Shout out to the nuke worker in the house. There's no MLB for me yesterday. Just sat back and watched the Ticats take care of business, baby. Jedi for life in the house. Strategic investments. Oh, by the way, the CFL action I've got, and I've already bet. I'm still waiting to bet on the Redblacks, but I will. Is on the opposite side of a ton of cappers. So, but I am sitting 19-11 on the year. We'll go over that in a little bit. Andrew G. Ticats first quarter. Cash it. Kelso Silva in the house. G. Martinez, who I'm now following on Twitter. I want to follow all you guys. Anybody that supports the show, I want to follow. I want to be able to talk on Twitter. So if I don't follow you, let me know, because that is a mistake. That is a mistake. Mike Miner from our guy Jedi Life says Miner's most interesting stat is first time through the lineup, teams are 193 against them, but second time through, teams are hitting 375 against them. That's a great stat. Thank you, Johnny Guns, my man. Sorry that our parlay didn't go through, but we'll start tracking them. I've been tracking a lot of stuff, and I love it. And we'll be talking about a lot of records here on today's show. I enjoy tracking Babano very much because it's a roller coaster ride. He's a high volume bettor. And I'm tracking now his unders, because Babano doesn't bet unders. So I'm tracking the unders that he would take. It was just 1-1 yesterday, down 0.1 units. There's Ronnie Ambergia in the house. Much love to you. Viper is on the Braves. All right. Viper is on the Braves. All right. Let's start copying and pasting action here. Copying and pasting action here. Let me just grab this right now. Braves is in from our very own Viper NB. Braves on the run line. Jedi for life, thinking a no run first inning in Baltimore first 5. Well, and spreadsheet play of the day is in the Chicago White Sox. There's only one hat here that I've never worn before. Actually, I still haven't worn the white Buccaneers hat. It's just a little too big for me right now, but the shit shrinks over time. This is the one hat I've never worn. I never liked these heavily colored brims, but we have the White Sox up here twice. So that's a good omen for your White Sox action. Spreadsheet play day is the White Sox -1. And, we have so many different styles of cappers, and it makes things so much fun on this show. And we all work together to defeat the juice. Nobody's better than the other. We are a team. We are a group. We are a family. And Ron Crawford has no fear, because his is a data-based, he's studies the analytics, and he puts a model together, and he wins. And so he's on the White Sox here. And this is one of those spots where, and this happens quite often, when we have our friends action, the big bets have come in on Caprillion in Oakland, or I would have already been on Lance Lynn at home. I would already be right there with you, but I got a little nervous. Kelso Silva saying Toronto, but the spreadsheet play of the day is in from our Ron Crawford, whom we love dearly. Kelso Silva says Toronto. I mean, what? I hope you're talking about the Argonauts, because the Blue Jays are -400. They were -390, went down to -380. There's Danzo in the house. Huge scores yesterday for Danzo as well. And look at this. Ron Crawford says today, Miss Crawford and I are celebrating 33 years of marriage. Wow. Congratulations, Ron. Another part of life where you lead by example, and we thank you for that. And give our love to Miss Crawford. She must be an incredible woman. Give our love to her. Tell her that the Low Bag fam thanks you for your service, because it's not easy. It's not easy. Be married to a capper, the highs and lows. Sometimes we take our losses out on our family, and it's something we try not to do. But please tell her that we love her, and we love her. And congratulations. There's Moose Money, working on Moose Money to get on the show here, working on some technicalities, see if we can get everything straight. Jedi for Life liking the over in Toronto. There's Sammy Culmer in the house. Danzo giving congratulations to the Crawfords. 33 years. Very impressive. Series business. Abel A. And look at that. Damon Suntory says, love the brown. Oh, it's my Richard Pryor shirt. I've had bought this shirt in Hollywood. Bought this shirt in Hollywood in 2002. And I've kept it, and I rock it, and I'm a huge Richard Pryor fan, man. How could you not be? How could you not be? All right, we got lots of work to do. Gio Martinez says Davis wanted to be a hero. Yeah, it was point and laugh funny. Jeffrey Moore says CFL saved. CFL saved my winning night as well. So, Kelso giving love to Ron Crawford. Lit Pick says coming off a 2-1 day, Phillies first 5 was money, but man, what a horrible beat on the run line. Yeah, teams up 6 runs or more were 99.8% to cover on the run line. Unbelievable amount. Yeah, it was. We had Vipe and Jose on the other side of the team total, and I was keeping a very close eye on that there. Yeah, New York says love the spotters. Yeah, I was saying it too. I was like, but I knew. See, that was the problem when you play sports, and I knew he was fucking good to go, and he was a man. He was going to take that hit, and he was going to possibly throw a dagger. Who knew what he was going to do? And I knew it, but fucking spotters. That's I don't like it. I don't like it, but we do have to protect people from head injuries. So there's my guy LJ from H-Town. Thank you for first CFL bet. I love it. There's Red Girl ready to go. The community of new knowledge. Nut Flush Allen. Marty Muerte. Von Polo says we in here. Top shelf plays. Says Tigers money line today. It's too bad that Jose does heavy hours for us a pub. And so he deserves to be resting today. But we'd sure all like to know. I mean, he has to bet the Tigers here, doesn't he? He has to. Much love to you guys rolling with us. It was important. Look at that. Lost 4 units, but cashed 5 tickets all over plus 200. Wow, that's a roller coaster ride for sure. All right, it is time to get to work. Gas report. Thank you for joining us. There's our guy Mark Schillingberg ready to go. Mr. Heat, Bo Jackson. And, Mark, that was, a lot of people giving me the love for the Ticats. And I made a lot of money with them this year, and I think we're going to keep making money. But there was a lot of great cappers on the Tiger Cats, and that's why we were all so confident. We had Slatsy on them all week. Then we had our guy Rod Zawacki come in and say that was his 10-star play of the day. So Ryan Mueller said, I would like to follow back. Anyone who I don't follow, I would love to follow who supports the show. So, Saturate. So just pop your Twitter handle in here and make sure I see it because we don't have Jose here. Saturated giving a shout to Jeff Slaughter's pick, that plus your Ticats pick, free money, and says, too bad I ruined the day chasing MLB dogs. That happens. That happens. All right. Gozar wants to talk to you. I think that when I was saying this to someone yesterday, I was saying that 99% of the time or more, the athletes want to talk to the kids. They do. It's the adults that they don't want to talk to. Ray Charles back in action. There's Rodney Burton says, happy Friday. Have a winning day. Johnny K. Gerardo Hernandez. Billy Friedrich. Overtime. Chad getting his day started with the Mets Marlins no-run first inning. Dabby Cab. Dabra Cadabra's action is in. And the taint play of the day is in. Bo Jackson says you got to take your wife and kiddo to Caravana Parade tomorrow. It's a little tricky with the heat and the kids and a parade. It's a little tricky. But we are and look at that Ron Crawford taint spreadsheet combo now 8-0. And not only that, shout out to TJ because his gift play of the day is 8-0 as well. Taint play of the day is in. It's the Atlanta Braves. So Viper in good company there with Taint. Let me get this. That's the Braves, D-backs, Bumgarner, Kyle Wright. That's an interesting look. But I love Caravana, and we all do. The Caribbean influences of Toronto are a huge reason why the city's so much fun, so incredible. So we're huge believers and supporters. Okay, let's get to work now. Shout out to all you guys. If I'm missing something, let me know. Oh, yeah, Dabby Cab. I wanted to copy and paste Dabby Cab's action. Wine Time Sports off a 2-0 day. I love that. Billy Friedrich says football season total win bets I've made. Let me get Billy Friedrich's and Auburn under 6. Let me get all this. I want to be able to study. I do study everybody's picks, especially right when the show ends and I'm putting in my extra action. It does help me very much. Jack Rosenblatt in the house. Jay Peasy getting ready to finish off his work day. Get down to San Diego where he's going to be partying all weekend. Okay, there's Dabby Cab's action. Braves first 5 run line. Braves team total over 5. Astros first 5. Astros team total over 3.5. Twins team total over 3.5 for Dabra Cadabra, who's going to be in Las Vegas. Those of you in Las Vegas right now, Pistol Pete Loshak is there. Dabra Cadabra coming up to shoot daily sesh with our guy Dutch Boy Fresh, and we have legends, low baggers, OG low baggers, Tommy Gun Ricci rolling into town, the Big Ragu rolling into town, Tease rolling into town. God, I wish I was there. Okay. All right. Sean Esther said full line value went 0-3 yesterday. Played them all individually and parlayed a tidy minus 3.25 units. Says, I hate Sports Insights, says Sean Esther. That's the tricky thing about tailing, Sean. When you tail somebody or tail something and you don't do it every day, you take a big risk. You never know if it's going to succeed or not. But we know that overall it's plus ROI and plus units. And I'm sorry that happened, but everybody's got to know that. Everybody has to know that if you just are going to pick and choose when to tail something, deal with the consequences, because people will show certain situations that have a winning ROI over time. And if you just hammer it one time, it's hard for me to really have compassion. I have compassion for you because, you're in the chat and you're supporting the show and, you're listening and you want to, that gives me compassion for you. But fuck, man, you should roll with it every single day and you'll make money, All right. Nuke Warrior says, someone point me in the right direction for the Lions Riders. I see a flip of the coin. Let's talk about that because I don't see a flip of the coin and I'm against a lot of people in this game. And I fear that I'm against the great Babano, who I'm going to bring on the show right now. There's Kenny V says, what up? Jimmy Kansas City killed me. It was too bad because Singer did what we thought he could possibly have done, and it didn't pan out. There's Officer 50 Ayash Yala says, Jimmy, what's up, my guy? My record finally rising out of the grave. Nice. Okay, well, let's get you back into the black. And Nasty Nate, you're a good man, says, I want to thank Jimmy, Big Show, Big Review, anyone else who donated to my son's football team. I appreciate it. I'll keep hammering that out. And then I just saw that Matty Ice's sons has a football team that they're raising money for. So we're gonna get both of your guys' football teams out there so that the low baggers can support. And Lee Davis says 2 of the 3 biggest line moves lost yesterday. And still working on that. Cool. I love that you're working on that. All right. Let's get to work here. And it's what it always will come down to. Big Show says 2-1 yesterday. Sorry for the Rockies pick, boys. A lot of good cappers were on the Rocky side of things. I think I can totally understand the angle why people were on the Rockies. And obviously Tyler Anderson wanted to show something. And Arena is the pitcher that everybody knows he is. And so he was facing the Dodgers the second time after being brilliant a month before, and he got touched, Chad Lehman says it was Singer's birthday last night. Oh, my God. I didn't know that. Because we cashed the first 5 under. I took that first 5 under 4 at minus 115. It went off at first 5 under 4.5 at the same price. And only 2 runs were scored because Spencer Howard on his 26th birthday. I don't want to get too caught up in that stuff, but the birthday shit is working. All right, let's bring on your guest, and I will be producing the show. So there won't be games underneath here. They're not loaded up. So let's get together and get that cash. Work hard, share angles, crunch numbers, and get paid in full. We've won every single day this week. We're going to sweep the board now, but we got to focus. We got to reach. And one thing that happens to me is sometimes I'm a little tired on Fridays from the whole week of work. And I reach a little bit and I have a higher quantity of action. I've already made 3 bets. I destroyed one line, killed the market move on it. And I knew I was. It was just crazy that it was a 3 last night. But let's just be consciously aware of that. I've not succeeded on a. I crushed last Friday, but that was the Friday off of the All-Star break. And Pistol Pete Loshak and I used to talk about how Fridays we had a lower ROI because we were a little tired. So let's keep that aware. Let's be sharp. Let's not reach. Let's get that fucking money. Please welcome to the show from Hamilton, Ontario, the Hammer baby, who were very good to us last night. And I hope he was there watching with glory. Please welcome to the show, Ian Cameron in the house. Babano, how are you, my man?
Very good, Jimmy. And Ticats finally figured out you have to play a second half when it comes to a football game. And it was very good to see that. Although they did everything they could to screw it up too, but they hung on. We'll take it.
They still need to know they have to play a fourth quarter. Now we got to
Fourth
move
quarter,
to the fourth quarter.
Man.
Great to see everybody here.
Tell you what, they don't play dull and boring football, that team. I'll say that.
No, it's fun. I think they're gonna make us a ton of money. I think they're gonna make us a ton of money. You got your Tabbies shirt on. I love it. Shout out to Dutch Boy Fresh in the house. As I said off the top, Dutchy and Dabby Cab live from Las Vegas. We're gonna do a new time for Daily Sesh. And I'm a huge fan of the show and can't wait to be on it.
Very
and
relaxing, soothing vibe. It's actually soothing if you've ever seen it. Yeah.
It is soothing until they show the clips of people almost dying.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a little less soothing, and then it becomes soothing again.
Yeah.
See, the one thing I want to do is
when they're talking, it's soothing. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be, puffing bats when I'm on. So I know when I'm going to be on because we're moving next month and we're moving out of the apartment, but I'm going to keep the apartment for the whole month just in case, because we build the studio up there and all that shit. So then at least I can smoke down because I don't smoke in my apartment at all and I don't step on my balcony. It's just horrific. So it's just I can't. I want to be a real part of the daily session.
You going to pay tribute to Parkdale when you move out, or nah?
I mean, look, my wife's born and raised in Parkdale. So there's always going to be that fucking street shit in the family. Like she's born and raised here, and look. So my son, I don't know if my children will have any Parkdale, but my Northern Vietnamese wife does, and she's not to be fucked with. Like most people in Parkdale aren't to be fucked with. I'm lucky I roll with her, man. She keeps me safe in Parkdale. I don't know what I'll do, but I want to get the fuck out of here. But let's get to work, Babano. Let's get to work. CFL. My record moved to 19-11 on the year, 63.3% up, 6.95 units. I made up for those 2 losses on the Elks last week. ROI plus 23.17%, average line minus 111. And a lot of people talking about how the Elks are just a fade at home. Look, I don't believe that's the case. And if I'm just going to go down on that sword, I'm going to get fucked over by that sword because it's a Chris Jones team, and they're going to change anything that's the mentality of this football team is going to change because he's a scary dude. He's a scary dude. Bo Jackson said, I dated a girl from Parkdale before. They ain't nothing to mess with. Yeah. It's not a good time of year, too. It's now mostly a Tibetan neighborhood. And, in other communities in the summertime, there's very attractive women wearing very little clothing. The Tibetans, they don't dress sexy. And
I have to, after seeing that comment from Bo Jackson, I got to do a little Wu-Tang bar. Parkdale girls ain't nothing to fuck with. Parkdale girls ain't nothing to fuck with. There you go.
I love it. I love it. All right. Because there's North Vietnamese will cut you. Watch out. Look, I know. I fucking know, man. You should see the way they treated us in the South. They hear the dialect of my wife, and they're like, oh, fuck. All right, let's get to work. CFL, Friday, July 29th. There's a game Friday, game Saturday, game Sunday. We're going to go over them right now. BC Lions, 4-1, 1-0 on the road at Saskatchewan. Roughriders, 4-3, 3-1 at home. Mosaic Stadium in Regina, Saskatchewan. Riders are coming off the back-to-back games against Toronto. It was a very tough couple weeks for them. The first game was the Atlantic Showdown. It was in Wolfsville, Nova Scotia, and they were dealing with a beaten down defensive front. And we talked a lot about wanting to move on the Argos at 2. They were at plus 2. They took care of business, but thanks to a pick 6 at the very end of the game. Then they come back to Saskatchewan, and COVID is riddled through the whole Roughriders team. Fajardo does not start, as our man Babano said. Dolagala did start, and he did not look good. But even still, the Riders were in control until the fourth quarter, when that poor quarterback play, came, hurt them badly. Let me say, hurt them badly. And I just cashed off of not believing the Lions are as good as their record indicates. I was on the Ticats with confidence, and I was really mad that I didn't get the 11. And it was just because I had bullshit that I had to take care of with. I had to run some family errands and shit. And then I still moved on them at 9.5, and that was an easy casher. There's Rod Zawacki in the house, says BC Lions 10-star play of the day. A lot of people are on the BC Lions, and I'm in a lot of great cappers. And I am not. Fajardo and Mosaic Stadium is going to be rocking. I don't trust the Lions on the road. There's no reason to trust them on the road, and there's no reason to trust them of late. Now, we can go over the possibility that the Riders could be missing their entire starting defensive line. I think Anthony Lanier will play. He's questionable with a thigh injury. Linebacker Derek Moncrief, defensive back Nick Marshall are questionable as well. I expect them to play. So AC Leonard, Peter Robertson are out. Garrett Marino is suspended. They lose their all-star center Dan Clark. It was the reason why we were fading them on the road early in the season. And his replacement, Logan Bandy, is out. But Fajardo is back, and I don't trust the BC Lions. And the market is moving towards the Roughriders. Is it moving towards Roughriders because Fajardo is being announced in? That's very possible. Let's just quickly go to the line history in this one here. Sorry, let me just move to odds. We'll go over the line history. Now, look, Rourke has been very good, but we saw what happened against a really tough defense last week, and he wasn't very good. And now, even with the Roughriders missing these players, I think they take care of business. The Roughriders opened up at +1. They were +2.5 when there was a thought that Fajardo might not play. I missed that 2.5 because it wasn't available at Bet365. It opened up at FanDuel at +2.5. I picked the wrong time to come in because I got in at +100. Now it's -120. It was -125 at 10:10 this morning. I got in at +100. It did get up to +110. So I could have done a little bit better. But look, I hate going up against some of these great cappers I'm going up against. Let's hear if I'm going up against Babano too. Babano, I know you like these BC Lions a lot. Take it away. Lions, Roughriders.
Indeed, you are going against me. I don't trust Saskatchewan. Say what you will about BC. I don't trust Saskatchewan, even at home. I mean, Fajardo, are we really making that big of a deal about Fajardo with a knee injury coming back tonight? Mm-hmm. Does anybody think he's played good football this year? Because I don't. I see a guy that's been inaccurate with the football. I've seen guys that have had a guy that's had a ton of turnover problems, bad decisions. That pick six was fucking inexcusable in Nova Scotia. I mean, you just have to read the defense better than that. You have to read the game situation better than that. That's inside 3 minutes to go. You have a lead. You don't throw an out pattern off your back foot. You know, that's just asking for bad shit to happen. So that's on him. I don't think he's played that great this year. They're still mashed with cluster injuries and absences along the defensive line. I don't think they're getting anybody back. Their sack leader, Pete, is still out. Of course, Garrett Marino still suspended. There is good news on the offensive side. And the one thing I will say is, obviously, if you saw Jake Dolegala play, you know at least it's an upgrade compared to that, having Fajardo back, because that was tough. That was tough for Dolegala last week. He had a tough day, obviously tough situation. The O-line has also had problems. I don't want to blame it all on Fajardo. You know, by the way, what's happening with Saskatchewan's offense. The offensive line has not played good now for a couple of weeks. And it goes back to the starting center having season-ending surgery. You know, really, you can trace it back to then, and all of a sudden we have seen Saskatchewan's defense or offensive line really struggle to run they couldn't run the football last week. That bothers me. That worries me significantly against the Argos. You know, what did Jamal Morrow have? 28 rushing yards on 10 attempts. You know, and the thing is, they tried to run the football. Yeah,
right. I mean, I don't mean sorry to interrupt, but like I can excuse that.
Yeah, but they tried to run the football, and they couldn't. You know, so that's the worry if you're Saskatchewan. You committed to the run, you stuck to it, and you couldn't get anything going on the ground game, and that made it even more difficult for obviously Jake Dolegala and a shorthanded Saskatchewan team. There are positives, Jimmy, for you and for anyone that likes Saskatchewan. There are positives. Fajardo's back. Duke Williams is back from a 1-game suspension. As long as he keeps his head on straight, he's a talented receiver. Having him back helps, no question. So the receiving core is going to be in a little bit better shape tonight because of that. And they're going to have their best cornerback, Nick Marshall, who didn't play last week in the secondary for the Riders. And if you look at it, the Curly Gittins touchdown right over the middle of the field, it was just bad pass defense. Maybe that doesn't happen, you know, if Nick Marshall plays. And look, BC has not played many road games this year. You know, we don't have a lot of evidence about just how good BC is away from home, other than a narrow win against a winless Ottawa team on the road. Although when I say narrow win, I will say they were up comfortably Ottawa got a late touchdown to make it a 3-point game when the game was pretty much out of hand. So the final score was a little bit misleading there. But, when I look at Saskatchewan, and I know they had a ton of key absences last week, but when you get outgained almost 500 to 200, just about or thereabouts in total yards, that's not good. And look, BC's 4-1 this year. Their only losses to Winnipeg, the 2-time defending Grey Cup champs. There's no shame in that. Their defense has played much better this year. And I'm reading things that Cody Fajardo, while he's going to play tonight, the ailing knee is still an issue. So how about mobility for him? Remember, he's got ligament damage in his knee, and he's going to play through it because he is a tough son of a gun. Yeah, you got to give Cody that. He is a very, very tough bastard, and he's playing through it tonight with the ligaments in his knee. But how mobile is he going to be? I think the BC pass rush has been solid this year. They're going to have their secondary looks like it's going to be intact. There was question Gary Peters, TJ Lee, 2 key pieces in that secondary would miss this game. They're going to play. Their only losses to Winnipeg. And when you look at Saskatchewan's schedule, this is the point that really turned me toward backing BC here. Saskatchewan has faced all East Division teams this year, a putrid division top to bottom, except for one game against Edmonton. They have not played the 3 best teams in the West, in my opinion, at least in my power ratings, the 3 best teams in the CFL yet this year. They haven't played Winnipeg yet. They haven't played Calgary yet. They haven't played BC yet until tonight. And yet they're only 4-3 against what I think is maybe the weakest schedule that any CFL team has faced so far, Saskatchewan. And they're only 4-3, and they haven't even faced the 3 best teams yet in this league. You factor in the prep time, 8 days for BC. They played last week. Saskatchewan, it's a short week. They had to play Sunday night, the rescheduled game. Now they have to turn around, play Friday. I'll dare Saskatchewan to step up and show me, because I think at this point in time, BC's the better of these teams. So BC money line for me.
And I can get you a plus 100, which means you are getting the same number that I got on the Riders a few days ago, expecting Fajardo. And see, I can make excuses. I can find excuses for all of these things. Obviously, the defensive line, it's going to hurt them. But
especially against Rourke. Rourke, I mean, you need good defensive line play and linebacker play. You need guys to be able to spy the quarterback, because we know he's lethal running the football. And you're decimated and depleted at those positions, especially the D line. That worries me a little bit in the matchup tonight. We'll see if they can overcome it.
The Lions have only allowed 4 sacks all year long. So even not allowing sacks, I know that doesn't tell the whole story about defensive pressure, but even not allowing sacks against the Ticats, they were still only able to put up 17 points at home. And Locombo being out is a big deal for the Lions. And you talked about the issue with Brian Burnham out. This was the first game we saw Brian Burnham out, and he was a weapon, and he took pressure off of the top receivers. And now no one's able to do that, and they were clamped down on. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'm going heads up against you, Rod Zawacki, and Slatsy. So, look, I don't know what to say. I'd rather be on the same side as you guys. Dennis Garcia made Saskatchewan a 1-point favorite, so he is passing. Andrew G's with me with Saskatchewan at home. There you have it.
We'll say this. It's the strongest home field in the CFL, and you're getting this team at a pick'em. So, and from a value standpoint, there probably is a little value on Saskatchewan. And a lot of times I don't like going against the value, but this matchup screams bad for Saskatchewan. We'll see if they can overcome it.
Ron Crawford.
And I want to point out one thing, too, about Rourke. He's actually played in Saskatchewan. Week 1 last year, remember the shortened season? August is when the season started. Week 1, it shocked everybody. It was BC at Saskatchewan. Mike Riley was supposed to start. He was a late scratch. It threw everybody for a loop. And all of a sudden, Nathan Rourke is the starting quarterback in that game. And he got it. He was brutal in the first quarter. I think he threw a pick 6 early in that game. And then he settled down, and he proceeded to shred Saskatchewan's defense in that game at Mosaic last year, the first game of the year. And BC covered. They were 6.5-point dogs. They lost by, I think, 6 points. They were right in the football game. And that's Rourke, not even close to the level of experience, not even close to the level of comfort in the BC Lions system that he has now. So that's another thing I look back on. It's like, yeah, Rourke played in that game last year because Riley was a late scratch, and he ended up hanging 30 points on that Saskatchewan defense. So we'll see if he's got a good game in him tonight.
I'm excited. I'm excited, nervous to be on the other side of all you guys. Ron Crawford also on the BC Lions. There's Ick Schnizzle. Needed a day of recovery after the Rage Against the Machine concert. Great to have you back in action with us. All right, we have 2 more football games, and we get into MLB. Winnipeg Blue Bombers undefeated, 7-0, 2-time defending Grey Cup champions at the Calgary Stampeders, 4-1, 2-0 at home. I'm on the Stampeders here. I got a bad line. I really thought that sharp money would be all over them. I really did. That's not the case. There was some COVID concerns earlier in the week. They have all been lifted, and still the market's moving towards the Bombers. So I got -1 at +100. I needed to use the -1 to have no VIG. Maybe that was a dumb decision, but I was like, anytime there's no VIG, as an opportunity, I'll take it. But now I could get them on the money line at +105. These Stampeders. It comes down to the bye week for me. Dave Dickinson, when I always liked him as a quarterback. When he started as head coach, I didn't like him that much. I didn't trust him that much. And he doesn't have a very good playoff record. He doesn't have a great, he's got some nice regular seasons, but he has gotten better and better and better and better and better. And I expect him to be a great CFL coach in the future, and maybe now. Off the bye, 21-8-3 against the spread in the last 32 games. And the Stamps have had 2 buys, and the Bombers have had 0 buys. It just, to me, feels like a spot where if the Stamps can't beat the Bombers here in this situation, then they can't beat them at all. They're coming off losing to the Bombers in the game where they were right in it. They were right in it until they almost won it with a drop pass in the end zone. They were right there. The Bombers come off of beating up on the Elks 24-10. I like the faded team who's coming off a nice, easy win against a bad football team. They were thinking that Kadeem Carey, their running back, who's very good, left tackle Derek Dennis, leading receiver Malik Henry, linebacker Jameer Thurman, were not going to be available due to COVID. They all practice Thursday. They're all good to go. I need Bo Levi Mitchell to step up. The Stamps defense is being very good, and I expect them to beat the defending 2-time Grey Cup champions. Take it away here, Babano. Bombers, Stamps.
Yeah, this is a pass for me. I mean, Winnipeg just finds ways to win. They do that. They're a pick 'em here in this game, and I think staying undefeated means a lot to them. They're taking on this mindset where we want to keep this thing going, this undefeated start to the season. I'm not saying it's entered their mind. Maybe we can run the table and go 18-0 in the regular season. That's very difficult to do, especially in the CFL with more games in the regular season. But they are hell and bound and determined to keep this going for as long as possible. And I think what's scary about how good things could end up being for Winnipeg this year is they played, I thought, by their standards, a pretty shitty football game last week against Edmonton. Zach Collaros completed sub 50% completion, 7 passes for the entire game, 7 of 16, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and fewer than 200 passing yards. That's what Zach Collaros, you wouldn't think that was a Zach Collaros stat line, if you looked at it. They really struggled on offense, and Edmonton in that game consistently was in Winnipeg territory. They settled for field goals. Winnipeg would have that big sack to knock Cornelius and the Elks out of, any sort of field goal range, and they'd have to punt. And they were like Cornelius and Edmonton were moving the chains, getting first downs, getting into Winnipeg territory, and they just could not finish with touchdowns. And then there were times, 2 or 3 times, where they were in field goal range. Big sack by that great Winnipeg defensive line, knock them out of field goal range. And that's why the Edmonton team ended up with just 10 points. But Winnipeg, they were in a battle the whole game. A bad roughing the kicker penalty for Edmonton kept a late drive going, and that was the drive that put the game away. Winnipeg scored a touchdown, 24-10. So for Winnipeg to play that lackluster game, if you were on Edmonton last week, you nailed the part of the handicap in that game that Winnipeg was going to sleepwalk, because that's exactly what they were doing. Winnipeg was sleepwalking. Unfortunately, Edmonton made too many mistakes and were unable to take advantage of it. Now the big showdown, it is a revenge spot for Calgary losing in Winnipeg. And so, first of all, Winnipeg's just too good, in my opinion, to go against them in this price range. Even with the situation in Calgary's favor, it looks like Jeff Cope might return. We'll see about Greg Ellingson. We'll see about Patrick Neufeld on the offense. Both of those guys missed last week. I think it's looking better for Ellingson to return, it looks like, for the Bombers. But You talk about a team that's had quality depth. They had no Jeff Coat last week. Didn't look like that pass rush suffered any. Oh, they've had injuries in the secondary this year, Jimmy. Oh, it doesn't look like the Bombers' secondary has suffered all that much. I mean, the quality depth that, Mike O'Shea, Kyle Walters, the GM, and what this Winnipeg team has built up has been outstanding. That they can suffer injuries at every position, bring in the next player to take that place, and they don't skip a beat. I mean, it's so impressive to watch. I ain't going against Winnipeg, but have you gone back and looked at Calgary's track record off a bye week? This goes back to John Hufnagel when he coached this team. I believe in terms of straight up, it's something along the lines of 28-4 straight up in the last decade off a bye week for the Calgary Stampeders. I know under Dickinson in the regular season, they're 8-2 straight up in 10 games off a bye week. That's under Dickinson. That's what the record is. So when I look, and I think the ATS record is 21-6-3 ATS Calgary off a bye week. I mean, all the straight up and ATS trends for the last decade, going back to even when Hufnagel was still coaching Calgary, are excellent. And the biggest worry I had about Calgary early in the week was in practice, they had a bunch of key starters missing. But if you're a Calgary fan and a Calgary backer, it was music to your ears yesterday. The big one being Kadeem Carey. All right. He is a terrific running back. He hadn't practiced all week, but he returned to practice yesterday, and he's probably going to play. That's significant because if they don't have Carey and they don't have a run game, that's going to allow Winnipeg's pass rush to pin their ears back on Bo Levi Mitchell, who I think is still a mistake-prone quarterback at this stage of his career under pressure. We've seen that, and he's been underthrowing some passes and inaccurate at times. So to have Carey on the field, to be able to rely on running the football, that is going to be huge for Calgary. And it's not just him. We've got a lot of key players. The starting middle linebacker, Jameer Thurman, returned to practice. He's going to play. Their best receiver, Malik Henry, returned to practice Thursday. He's going to play. The left tackle started the week not practicing. Derek Dennis, he came back to practice. He's probably going to play for Calgary. So this now looks like a much healthier team, and maybe as healthy as they've been all year. They're at home. This team's phenomenal off a bye week. And I ain't going against that either. Not this kind of long-term 10-plus year sample size of Calgary just being utterly dominant off a bye week. So best game of the week. Can't wait to watch it. I have nothing for you, though, betting it.
I'm confident. I don't like seeing now the first two games on the CFL weekend. I'm against Ron Crawford. I don't like that, but I'm confident with the Stamps. I love having the Stamps and Riders at home for pick'em price. I mean, that's just never. I don't know if that's ever happened before.
I can see. The thing is, I'll be quite honest. I will be 100% truthful right now. You say, Ian, you have a free money bet on this game. Which side are you taking? I'm taking Calgary. I'm with you. I'm taking Calgary here because Winnipeg, to me, on the road for a second week, Calgary as healthy as they've been. They're going to have Carey on the field. And I like that about Calgary. And I like the number you're getting. You're getting a good value with them. But at the end of the day, Winnipeg, by the way, and I keep going back to that BC game where it was a horrible spot on paper for Winnipeg, and it was a great spot for BC on paper. Nobody overcomes bad spots, bad situations, and finds ways to win like the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And that worries me. That, it sets up on a silver platter for Calgary here. And yet Winnipeg, all they do is just they battle, and they find a way. And I'm worried that happens again, but hopefully, Jimmy, not for you, and I wish you luck.
Thank you. This means everything to the Stamps. And
Great game.
I understand the Bombers want to stay undefeated, but this is a huge, huge game for the Stamps. I'm confident in it, and I'm confident in the next one. And I said this morning on Toronto radio, I said, if this goes to 4.5, I'll be like, God, I got to bet it immediately. And it just did go to 4.5 about an hour ago. I want the Redblacks bad. And I'm going to want to keep backing them. I think they're the best 0-6 team that I've seen in the CFL, maybe ever.
We're finally going to have a game on this CFL card, Jimmy, where it's full agreement, you and I. Yep.
Beautiful. I think that the Ticats, I said before yesterday, they're the best 1-5 team I think I've ever seen in the CFL. I think the Ottawa Redblacks are the best 0-6 team I've ever seen in the CFL. And they did not deserve to lose that game against the Alouettes. That a touchdown, a pick six that could have been an incomplete pass, had them down 14 points. with 4 minutes left, and then they should have tied the game. And then I know they would have gone for the 2-point conversion if they had of. It's too bad. Look, they're losing and losing and losing and losing. But Caleb Evans looked really good. 25 of 40, 297 yards, 1 touchdown. And there was a touchdown pass in the arms of his top receiver that bounced out. And look, I was not impressed at all by what the Argos did last week. Not even a tiny bit. And Bethel Thompson finally going for 336 yards, 2 touchdowns. I don't care. Gittins Jr. looked very good. Dave Beckett, got the +5. Billy Friedrich says the Redblacks are +5 -118. I said, oh my God, because there's other books that I saw them go to 5.5 or 6. I've been watching. I check it 10 times a day on Bet365, and they were still at 5. They just moved to 4.5. I want the Redblacks. I'll bet them immediately. I should have already been on them at 5. Back me up here, and let's keep this tight because everyone wants to talk baseball, and we got a huge card. So what do you think here, backing up the Redblacks?
It's a classic spot. It's a classic bet on versus bet against spot here, as far as I'm concerned. Classic. Now, you're going to look at it, and you're going to see Ottawa 0-6, right? Horrible record. Only winless team in the CFL. Worst team in the CFL, right? I see a better team than 0-6 as well. You know, if you watch these games and you do the eye test, Ottawa looks like a more talented team than 0-6. Now, does that mean they should be 500 or better? Probably not. But this team could easily have a couple of wins on the board already. This year, no question about it. 5 of their 6 losses have been by 7 points or less. Tells you all you need to know. 5 of their 6 losses by a single possession. They've been competitive, and I think they're in a solid position to compete for and possibly even get win number 1 here in this game. When I look at Caleb Evans, who I'm going to assume he's going to start because I think our guy, that's the sound of La Police, that's the sound of the beast, Paul La Police. I think he's seen enough in Evans' progression from the Hamilton game to last week against Montreal to say we can keep going with this guy. He made some plays. It was the best throwing the football game he's had all year in terms of passing. He's running the ball. He's got great athleticism. He's a dual threat. And I think he'll get the start again here. And he's gotten better and better progressively. Ottawa's secondary should get healthier for this game. They've had a lot of injuries in the secondary, but it looks like they're going to have Justin Howell back, possibly. Abdul Kenna is going to play. Money Hunter might even be back, and those are 3 of their key pieces in the secondary. That's going to help. The offensive line could get a key starter back this week as well. And I still like the receiving core, Jalen Acklin. They've got guys that can make plays down the field for Ottawa. So I think and again, the Montreal game, they're right in it. And what I like is they were down 40-26. They didn't quit. They kept on playing right till the end. And I want to take points with teams that don't give in. They play right till the final whistle, right till the end of the game. And Ottawa's done that. Let's contrast that to Toronto now. They're off back-to-back road trips out to Nova Scotia for the first game against Saskatchewan, back out west to play the Riders. They won and covered both games. But when you look at it, McLeod Bethel Thompson still made mistakes in both games, at least one INT. That's what he's good for. Toronto did make some plays down the field. There's no question. But, it was a pick 6 that did them in Saskatchewan in the first game. They faced a Saskatchewan team riddled by COVID injuries and suspensions, and Toronto took advantage of that. And that was not impressive by Toronto. Yeah, in the box score it was, but they made a ton of turnovers, mistakes. I don't know what Ryan Dinwiddie was thinking with the 61-yard field goal attempt right before halftime. You just can't do that. He's not Justin Tucker. This isn't an indoor stadium like Detroit, when he hit one against the Lions from that distance, Justin Tucker for the Ravens. And the threat of a kick return touchdown. I called him Ryan Dinwiddie. That's what he was, deciding to do that. Terrible decision. Tons of turnovers, tons of penalties. Discipline was an issue for the Argos. They did everything they could to give Saskatchewan that game last week. It's like, we don't want it. Here you go. But they survived it. So they have the 2 big wins against Saskatchewan. There's still an offense that's scattershot, a defense that's actually given up some big plays. They've given up, 26 or more points per game on average this year. So you look at this spot and you look at it. Toronto's 2 previous home games, Jimmy, they lost to Winnipeg. They had a 1-point win against Montreal only because David Cote missed a field goal. So where's the evidence, especially in the worst home field in the CFL, BMO Field, where's the evidence of the Argos winning by margin? They lost to Winnipeg, and they had to come back to make that close, and they won by a single point against Montreal. They got blown out by BC. Okay, they won and covered and won one of the games against Saskatchewan by 10, but they were trailing in the fourth quarter in both of those games against Saskatchewan. So you're talking, Jimmy, about laying 5 with a team that is won by 1 point at most at home, that in the last 2 games against Saskatchewan was trailing in the fourth quarter. Last I checked, you're an underdog to cover as a 5-point favorite when you're trailing in a football game in the fourth quarter. My point is that nothing is coming easily for Toronto. Nothing is coming comfortably. I question their ability to win this game by margin. I know Ottawa's going to bring it because we've seen sense of urgency. We've seen them desperate to get this first win for weeks now. Why should it change here? And then the icing on the cake for this spot against Toronto. Who do they play next week? My fucking Ticats. That's who. Next week in Toronto. We know what happened the last time they played in the East Final. We beat them. Bad blood. Some Argo players came into the stands. Punches were thrown. That's next week. So you talk about 2 big wins against Saskatchewan, a West team, Hamilton next week, and in between, what have you got? The winless, so-called lowly Ottawa Redblacks. Ottawa plus the points. Wouldn't shock me if they win outright.
I love it. There's a 5.5 at -115 at Pinnacle. Do you want the hook or do you want the 5 at -107?
I already bet the plus 5.5 early in the week, -107. So might as well stick with that if it's there.
You got it. Plus 5.5 -1. I'm going to bet this as soon as the show's over. I knew the sign if it went to 4.5 meant the sharps are all over it. So I love it. I love it. So there is our CFL breakdown again at 19-11 now after cashing both yesterday. 19-11. So I'm going up against some heavyweights in the Friday nighter. I'm on the Riders. I'm always going to take the Riders at Mosaic at this price. Always. And I didn't take them last week. You know, they were riddled with COVID.
It's a bargain on them. It's a question of can they overcome the key absences.
Stamps -1 at +100. I got a bad line. I'm excited about these games. I'm so fucking excited. And then we're both on the Redblacks, which makes me feel good. There you have it. Let's keep the cash coming in. And big shout out to our guy, Sideshow 811. His cousin, number 58, Carter, just got bumped up from the practice squad for the Redblacks. Man, that's exciting. Respect and love and congratulations to your family. And I will be keeping an eye out for Carter. The same name as my son. I fucking love it. Nuke Worker joined me on the Riders. Thank you, Nuke Worker. I love that shit, man. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. MLB and Babano. It's been very fun tracking your action. It's a roller coaster ride. A roller coaster ride. Last week was no different for your wild roller coaster ride. Let me get the tracker up here because it was wild. Yep. You got off to a bad start, and I was like, "Oh no!" You lost. You cashed your first bet, St. Louis, Cincinnati over 10, but then you lost on some dogs. You doubled up on the Pirates' first 5 in full game. You doubled up on the Orioles' first 5 in full game. All at plus money. Those lost, and then the Mets' first 5 lost you against Darvish, Scherzer. And I was like, "Oh shit!" But then you rallied off 6 straight wins late. Jays. Cleveland White Sox over 8, Rays, Athletics first 5 in full game, both at plus money. That was the Irvin start last Friday. Arizona team total over 4.5, cashed easily. And then you lost with the Mariners late. So it's back-to-back winning weeks for you. But that's not important. What's important is the overall record is in the black. You're 68 wins and 60 losses on the show, hitting at 53.1% plus 4.66 units. Your ROI is plus 3.64%, and your average line is minus 104. And
I'll take that in this sport. This is my worst sport of the major 4 sports. It's been that way for a decade. So the fact that I am positive overall, like just my overall season record, everyday record that is from April to now is positive. It's right around that range, actually. I think it was 3-point-something going into yesterday. So there you go. It's right in line with that.
Bikers at Barkdale's. It's Toronto smoking section. You've been excellent. I've enjoyed it very much.
And that's a serious high volume number
that's
of bets too to get that plus units.
7 shows, and your average line minus 104. I had a poor night last night. The Tigers' first 4.5 plus a half was looking very good until the 5th inning. Or the 4th inning, the bottom of the 4th for the Jays where they hit the 3-run bomb. I lost Tigers' first 4.5 and plus and a half. Lost Tigers' team total over 3.5. Pushed the Mariners' first 5 and cashed easily the Texas Angels' first 5 under 4. So that's an ugly day. That's my first losing day of baseball in the second half since the All-Star break. It's not been that long, but still felt good that I was on that run. 1 and 2 down 1.4 units. So So overall on the season, I'm down. I'm 202 wins, 189 losses, 51.7%. I'm down 5.05 units. My ROI is negative 1.29%. My average line is minus 108. So that is where we stand. Let's get to work. Thank you guys so much for joining us here, Betting with the Bag, Pub Sports Radio. We're talking MLB, and we've had a great second half. Let's keep it rolling. I've made 3 bets so far. This isn't one of them. We started 6-4, and again, our man Jose was the announcer at the Foxy Boxing at the strip club last night. He didn't get home till 6:30 in the morning, so it's just us here. There won't be games on the bottom of the screen. 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Baltimore Orioles 50-49, 21-29 on the road at Cincinnati Reds 38-60, 22-31 at home. We're at the Great America Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. Billy Friedrich says no line on Baltimore since he had no pitcher announced for the O's. Let's just move over there very quickly and see what the situation is. I knew that there would be nothing, but I was hoping something would come up. I have a line. I've had a line. I thought I'd had a line for a while. My line is Mike Minor is plus 110 against whomever will be pitching. We thought it could be Dean Kramer, and there's Johnny Gunn saying Dean Kramer. It must not be. Because that, if it was Dean Kramer, it's pretty simple and we would know about it. It must not be. If it is Kramer, his last start, he went 5 1/3, allowed 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 homer, 6 Ks, 1 walk, and a 6-0 loss at home to the Yankees. And big shout out to Jose, who was adamant to bet Mancini on the home run prop in that final game, and a bunch of you guys jumped on it. That's just great capping, you guys. You guys, like, I stay away from the prop market, but when I watched him hit that jack, I was just like, God damn, that's just great capping by you guys. And AJ says Trey Mancini inside the park home run was awesome yesterday. It was just, the whole thing was awesome. And the curtain call, all that shit was awesome. All right. Ekal says also seemed fluky, but nonetheless was great for him. It was great. It was great. And a huge plus, 4 or 450 prop for you guys. Mike Minor, we thought he was going to turn around and start looking better. That's not been the case. His last start, 4 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 homers, 3 Ks, 4 walks, and a 6-3 loss at home versus the Cards. He's now 0-6 at home with a 6.75 ERA, 274 opponent's batting average. Orioles don't hit lefties, 232, 680 OPS. That might help Mike Minor. Reds versus righties, 236, 676 OPS. You know, they don't hit righties. Orioles bullpen is 2.2 runs better than the Reds bullpen over 9 innings. That's just absolutely wild. So from a line history perspective, I'm not sure if we'll get much, and we've had no movement at all. This total opened up at 9.5 minus 115 to the over. There was a 5-cent move to the under. It came back. Let's take a look at the weather here in Baltimore. In Cincinnati, Great American Ballpark. 83 Fahrenheit, 9.7 miles per hour out to center. Dies down to 7. And then from a cash flow perspective, do we have enough bets on this? Yeah, we 996 since it's opened up, and it's all Baltimore. 84% of tickets, 98% of cash, but the line's not moving. So it's quite an interesting spot. Take it away here, Babano. Any interest for you, Orioles Reds, to get the day off to start?
Yeah, well, we don't know who's starting for Baltimore, but that doesn't matter because I am involved in this game with a first play of the card, and it's the team total over 4.5. Baltimore. I have no, even with their meandering numbers against lefties, there's no question, and maybe that's going to come back to bite them here. But I think Mike Minor is going to come back to bite Mike Minor before the Baltimore numbers against lefties are going to bite them. He's just been brutal. He's been absolutely horrendous. And I just don't see how the Orioles don't add to the plight of Mike Minor. He's made 9 starts this year. 7 of the 9 starts that he's made, the opponent has scored at least 5 runs. And obviously that's what we're going to need here as far as the team total is concerned. And I think they can get there. I think they can get there with this team total. There's nothing really more to say than that. He's just been brutal. He's been absolutely pathetic, Mike Minor. Just in the last 2 starts alone against the Cardinals and the Yankees, 10 runs, 13 hits in 8 innings. That's just the start of just how absolutely terrible it's been. So, we don't know who's pitching for Baltimore, but quite honestly, it doesn't impact me one bit here in terms of the bet. It's just I'm going to bet Baltimore's offense against this absolutely brutal run that Mike Minor's had. And I've been fading Minor repeatedly, so I ain't going to stop now. We'll go with the over here, team total 4.5 minus 135 at BetMGM, over 4.5 Baltimore.
All right, you are on the board. Over 4.5 minus 135. Only hanging a 5.5 over at Pinnacle.
Yep.
Piker says Baltimore trash on the road. Miner's given up 2 runs his last 3 starts versus Baltimore. Reds are 8-3, last 11 at home. Says reasons to hesitate.
He does actually have very good numbers against Baltimore long term, but a lot of those were 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I throw that shit out. It's just too long ago.
Oh, wow. Robert Cherry actually cashed 3. Chad Lehman has his action in. Braves first 5, Brewers first 5, Cardinals first 5, Astros first 5, Twins plus a half first 5, Rangers plus a half first 5. I'll copy and paste that. Thank you for sharing that with us, Chad. Babano's on the board. This is not how I'm going to start my Friday action. And there's Nasty Nate back with the Red Sox match. I am going to be very, very selective today. And I've been looking at my quantity of action on Fridays. And now, last Friday, again, I was off of the break. Made 8 bets, went 6-2. But I had a few bad Fridays in a row leading up to the All-Star break. Babano's on the board. Orioles. Team total over 4.5. Minus 135. Joe Rich says, I'm on Miami first 5 team total over 1.5 and says cash it.
Yeah, just to answer Jedi for Life, I think he asked, how about a first 5 team total over for Baltimore? No, I want the full game because the Cincinnati bullpen's 5.2 ERA. So it's a bad bullpen. So, yeah, I want the full game.
Some great stats here from our guy Moose Money. Says Miner throws his fastball 45% of the time is getting hit at a plus batting average of 326, slugging of 663.
Wow.
All right. We move on.
I got to throw something out here, Jimmy, because I know Jose's good with these breaking news segments. We don't have the music or the graphics or anything, but I'll throw this out there. We do have a diagnosis on Tampa Bay Buccaneers center, Ryan Jensen. He's going to be out for at least 2 months with that knee injury suffered in training camp yesterday.
That's better than
off the field.
That's much better.
Much better, but they said up to a couple of months. So it's better than it could have been. But for the first couple months of the season, that is a big loss. This is a Pro Bowl center. It's an offensive line that, Wirfs is great. But, that's a big part of what makes that Bucs center offensive line work. And if you've ever heard Tom Brady the last couple of years, or last year and the last couple of years in Tampa, he has sung the praises of Ryan Jensen. He just can't say enough about how good this guy is as their starting center. So we'll see how they fare. But you're right, Jimmy. Could have been much worse than being out for 2 months.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think that's good news. I legitimately think that's good news. So, okay, let's keep rolling here. Babano is on the board. Now we have our next game, New York Mets at Miami Marlins. We had Lamont Williams jump into the chat to give us his max bet. And his max bet was must-know information for the years that I've had the show. And he's a great capper. There's Swizz in the house. Let's go. We're talking Mets Marlins, loanDepot Park in Miami, Florida. Chris Bassett for Sandy Alcantara. I did not know what to do. I came close to betting the Marlins first 5, and I stopped myself, although a lot correlated here. And there's been changes. We heard from Sean that the full line value spots on Sports Insights all lost yesterday. They're all big dogs. There's 2 today. There's 2 spots today, and one of them is right here with the Miami Marlins. 6,380 tickets in, 54% of the tickets, 82% of the cash on the Marlins, 60% of tickets, 99% of the cash on the under. This one is interesting. Let's go over the line history here. When I was close to moving on it, I probably around 7:30 or so this morning, 8 this morning, the Marlins were plus 100. They're now plus 105. So there's been they were plus 105. They moved to plus 100, 831. Now they're back at plus 105. So there had been a 15-cent move. It got up to 20 cents, and then about 35 minutes ago, it moved back to plus 105. So a 15 cents of movement towards the Marlins. From a total perspective, it opened up at 6.5 over minus 120. It's now 6.5 under minus 120. And the max bet from Lamont Williams is the full game under 6.5. Mikey M says no run first inning spot for the Marlins game. Moose Money has Marlins at 3.6 runs in the spot. Mets 6.3. Overtime says Alcantara is great, but Miami can't hit under first 5. I looked at that very closely too. And that first 5 under is at 3. It's been getting bet down. The other 3, which I hammered on the over, I just bet $150 like my regular unit size, but on the over was the Padres, right? Where is it here? No, it wasn't Ryan Snell. What the hell was it? What the hell's wrong with me? The Guardians Rays spot. That 3 is now at 3.5. This 3 has been even more juiced to the under. It's now at. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. There's been a move back to the over. So the under 3 is at minus 105 now. Professor Chris says Mets show value for me at minus 120 or so. This one is a little trickier than it looks, and it's because of Chris Bassett, and it's because of Alcantara's 4th time seeing these Mets. And the first 2 times he got touched by them. And the second start of the year was in Miami, and the Mets really touched them. The last start was spectacular. Alcantara just shut down the Mets in New York at Citi Field. It was great. Bassett has not been good on the road this year. 5-2, 4.67 ERA, 241 points batting average, but he's been better on the road lately, and he's coming off a very nice start. It was at home, 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 11 strikeouts, and a 2-1 win at home over the Padres. At home, Alcantara's lights out. 1.66 ERA, 177 opponent's batting average. Mets rating 258, 731 OPS versus righties. Marlins 245, 701. And the Mets bullpen 3.53 ERA, 1.22 whip, being good all year. Marlins bullpen very streaky, pitching a little better right now. 4.01 ERA, 1.33 whip. 26 of 44 saves. Take it away here, Babano. I came very close to moving a couple times on this, and I just wanted to talk it out with everybody. So let's talk it out. Andrew G says Miami first 5, the Mets win the game late. This Mets team is flying high after putting the Yankees in the body bag. Ronnie Burger says it's the 4th time Bassett has faced the fish this year. I think Miami first 5 is a good look.
Yep.
Take it away, Babano.
Yep, that is my look, Miami first 5. So whatever Miami first 5 is, and just first 5. I'm not doing a double up here. I'm not doing a full game money, first 5 full game split here, because I am worried about the Marlins bullpen. They played a 7-6 game yesterday with Cincinnati. Castano got knocked out of the game in the first inning with that scary situation. I mean, thank goodness he's doing okay, but that was scary in the first inning of that game against Cincinnati yesterday. And as a result, it became a bullpen game for Miami, and they had to use a lot of their key relievers once that game got close in the latter innings. So that bullpen is depleted tonight, I believe, for the Miami Marlins, especially with no day off. So I'm going to go with the Marlins here, first 5. I don't necessarily love the spot for the Mets. I think Andrew brought it up. You know, they did get a day off yesterday, but, you know, they just had a big series win against the Yankees, and now you're going down to Miami and you're facing the Marlins. You know, I could see this being, I don't want to say letdown spot, and I don't necessarily believe in that as much in baseball as other sports, but if there ever is going to be one, it's here for the Mets. Bassett hasn't been nearly as good lately. I mean, he hasn't been terrible, but and look, we know the Marlins can struggle to hit, but I'm going to take a shot here at a plus price, Miami in the first 5. Sandy's that good.
Wow, interesting that. Oh no, sorry.
And by the way, it looked like the All-Star break, Jimmy, might have revitalized Sandy a little bit. Not that he obviously didn't need it, but he only gave up 2 hits. You know, in that first start after the All-Star break. I mean, he was just absolutely sharp.
Yeah, you know, when you have the Cy Young to pitch for, I don't see a letdown. I don't see any reason why he would let down as we move forward. It doesn't matter how bad the Fish play, because you got a chance to etch your name in history here. Minus 105 is the best lines I can find for the first 5 for the Marlins.
Yeah, you're not getting those bargains anymore with Sandy. Not even close, but I'll take it. I'll take the minus 105.
Yeah, I get it. Let's see what Domi Gunrichi has to say. He took the over 6.5 last night. He says, no letdown here. It's a division we need. Games to adverse Braves. With a day off, there's no Met letdown.
Yeah, the day off will help. I agree. The day off will help. But still, that's the Yankees. That's the Subway Series. You had a great series. Now you're playing the lowly Marlins in a freaking sterile environment down there in Marlins Park. You know.
Ronnie and Burgess
could drag them down.
Mets are going from a series with 40,000 plus in attendance.
There you go. Exactly.
Stadium.
Yeah.
Look what happened to the Astros in Oakland earlier this week.
That's a hell of a point, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Hell of a point.
No doubt about it.
I mean, sometimes these really good teams, they just have that whatever. Especially after a big series win. Yep.
Yeah, I would like to take Sandy Alcantara first 5. I would. I'm close. Bruce Shad, what's happening? Piker says Miami hasn't won back-to-back games since what's that? July 14th. Oh, yeah. 15 days ago. Mets are 46-22 as a favorite. Bassett struck out 11 batters last game. Better pen. Their Mets value here. All right. Ron Crawford says Sandy up to 144 innings may be a lot. What do you think of that? Do you think, because Jose's really looking at pitchers who are going to exceed their career highs in innings, and he's going to start fading them down the stretch, which is a really sharp thing to do. What do you think of 144 innings? Not yet to worry, but something we should keep an eye on?
Well, not yet to worry. It's relevant. It's absolutely relevant, and it's something to keep an eye on, because I do agree that there's a theory that's worth looking at and for bet against consideration when you're talking about these pitchers that are not only going to exceed their previous high in terms of innings, but maybe shattering that previous high. And that could be the case with Sandy, but I need to see evidence of it leading to a downturn in his performance level before I'm ready to buy into it. And we haven't seen that. If you look at his last 2 starts, he's been every bit as good as he's been all year. 2 runs in 8 innings against the Phillies, 2 runs, 2 hits, 6 innings against the Pirates, 22 strikeouts in both of those games. So the swing and miss is still there for Sandy. I don't see any signs of arm fatigue just yet. So I think there could be a point we do see it. I have not seen it yet. And I know the innings are getting up there for him, but I need to see a sign of his pitching performance declining, and I have not seen that yet. When I see it, then maybe I'll say, hey, maybe he's getting wearing down a bit, but I haven't seen it yet.
It's funny that I'm hesitant. You would think that Alcantara at home with barely any vig, first 5 would be a must bet, but for some reason I'm just a little hesitant.
Plus, it's a lot of Miami money's come in on this game too. It's worth noting, yeah.
But the market's moving towards them, so that's fine. That doesn't take any confidence away from me. That gives me more confidence. Even I don't mind getting a worse line. Don Max says Mets full game feels like the move. As Pete would say, weighted coin flip. Mets are the much better team. And Professor Chris saying very similar things. Interesting. What strategic investment saying? He's saying unders 5-1 Marlins last 6 games following a win. Overtime says when I doubt, I pass. I get it. Okay. But Johnny Gunn says we can't leave any money on the table here. So I'm thinking of adding the Marlins first 5. I'm thinking about it, but let's move on. Next up for us, 7:05 p.m. Eastern, Kansas City Royals 39-60, 17-30 on the road to the New York Yankees, 67-33, 38-12 at home. We're at the Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, baby. Let's see what we are dealing with weather-wise. We have 84 Fahrenheit. Feels like 86. Who cares? 8.9 miles per hour out to left center. Goes down to 7.4 or 7.3. As Dommy Gunn noted that when it's blowing out to that short porch and right, that's the best offensive weather for this spot. Good says, any thoughts? Like the Pirates first 5, by the way. It looks like I was the only one who picked the Red Sox. That was an incredible call. Good, incredible call. There he is, our guy R2D2 Finland. Finally able to catch you at least live, at least for a while. Man, R2D2 Finland. Respect, man. I can't wait. Can't wait for the big season. And, man, I can't stop talking about Lemenko coming to the Canucks. Big KHL move for us. And no one's talking about it. And I think that he is going to be the best free agent signing of the entire offseason. That's what I think. But we will see. And that's why we got Mikheyev, right? We got Mikheyev to give him, make him comfortable. I love what's going on over there. Finally,
Finland is for real as a hockey country. I mean, you better be scared whenever you play that country now in hockey.
Always. They were always the toughest, right? We always, even Don Cherry had respect for the Finns, Great to see R2D2 Finland. Will Rizza says Marlins bats. Yeah, no, that's a problem. No doubt about it. I don't know what to focus on really in that spot. Like, I don't think Chris Bassett is a 4.67 ERA, 241 opponents batting average on the road. I think he's better than that. And we'll show that he's better than that down the stretch. That's what has me hesitant. Mike M says, do you think Atkinson was happy to see Torts? I think he was, actually. Atkinson got that big contract from Torts, and then he was benched for a little bit, but then he stepped up. I think Atkinson was able to handle Torts better than others for whatever reason. And I think that some people are going to get hurt by the coach, by Tortorella being over there, and Atkinson won't be one of them. But who knows? Who fucking knows? All right. And Dommy Gun says Bassett due to let up a few clinkers like he does. Mets beat Sandy before. Mets one of the best team in getting high pitch counts for starters. I like this over. All right, let's move on to this Royals-Yankees spot. We have Bubic going up against Garrett Cole. And look at that. Stanley Cup is here now. Rantanen and Lehkonen, big party tomorrow with the cup in Finland. Oh, that's fun. I love that shit. I love it. I love it. I love it. Have fun with the cup, man. I got to drink with the cup. Not out of the cup, but I got to drink beside the cup and hang out with the cup in the bar up at Eglinton in Toronto maybe 10 years ago. Pretty cool. Pretty exciting when the Stanley Cup came into a bar. We all lost our minds, you know. Okay, Bubic, Garrett Cole, you should see how fast the girls were ditched. We walked away from those girls as soon as we saw the Stanley Cup and didn't even bother coming back to them. Who knows where the fuck they ended up. All right, Bubic, Garrett Cole. Bubic 2-6, 5.53 ERA, 1.65 whip, 55 Ks, 37 walks, and 68 in the third. 10 home runs allowed. Coming off a nice start, was at home against the lowly Rays. 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, 3 walks. On the road, he's been better than he's been at home. 1-2, 4.60 ERA, 270 opponent's batting average. Going up against Garrett Cole, 9-3, 3.09 ERA, 1.02 whip. He's been very good at home, and he's been poor on the road. At home, very good, 4-2, 2.09 ERA. Opponents hitting 189 off of him. There's TJ. TJ now 8-0 with the gift plays. Has got to take Miami first 5. The Pen had a rough extended outing. And how about that gift? Yeah, DJ, you're a monster. Fucking monster, man. Okay. Dommy Gun Reach, he says Yanks over 8.5. Royals hitting 244, 675 OPS versus righties. Yankees versus lefties, 257, 97 OPS. Royals bullpen's been bad all year long. Yankees bullpen's been good. Let's take a look at the weather first, and then we'll go into, or did I already do the weather? Sorry. Yes, I did. 8.9 miles per hour, down to 7.3 out to left center. Then line history in this Yankees-Royals spot. We have the Yankees opening up minus 360. Now they're minus 400. God, I know we need Jose to be resting, but I'd be very interested to hear what he thinks about Cole at minus 400. We know he'd be betting against it. And you'll hear today, I believe Connor Mack will be doing the show. It's Friday on Say Hey Plays of the Day. The over opened up at 8.5 minus 105. It dipped to 8 in 10 hours. It dipped to 8. It's back at 8.5, juice to the under. Take it away here, Babano. Royals, Bronx Bombers.
Yeah, I'm probably going to pass. I mean, I kind of want to fade Bubic. I still don't trust Bubic, but he's been a lot better. I guess by his standards, he's been a lot better the last 4 or 5 starts. And sometimes we see this from the Yankees. We saw it even against, some weaker teams, where the lineup kind of goes away. And again, Stanton's been banged up. We'll see if he's in the lineup tonight. That remains to be seen. Just in theory, it looks like when you see the Yankees play a 1-0 game like they did last night against Kansas City, I kind of want to go with either a team total over or a full game over with the Yankees tonight. I'd lean that way. I don't think I'm going to get there, though. I mean, you talk about Garrett Cole on the other side, of course, for the Yanks, and there's probably some questions about if this Royals team is going to be able to do all that much damage against him. You look at his numbers at home this year, 2.09 for the entire season. Obviously, for the most part, he continues to pitch well. He got roughed up a little by Baltimore in his last start. But here at Yankee Stadium, you look at his last, I believe, 5 outings here at Yankee Stadium. Was he giving up 2 runs or less? In 4 of those, he's given up 1 run or fewer. So he's pitched really well here at Yankee Stadium. So it'll be a lean to the Yanks team total over and the full game over, but I'm going to pass.
I'm going to pass as well. I don't find anything really appealing here. I will be in the chat for Jose's show. I'm looking forward to hear Jose break these down. Stella Girl, those of you who watch me cap for years know Igor Larionov is my favorite player. He's the player I emulated on the ice, and I always wore 18. It was my number, and then 7 or 18. And Stella Girl says Larionov, Makarov, fun to watch those first few years. It would have been fun to see Larionov if he had to come over, in his prime. And it would have been fun if he could have re-signed in Vancouver. He didn't re-sign because they had a deal with the Red Army that whatever he signed for by the Canucks, they had to send that exact amount of money to the Red Army. And so Larionov begged Pat Quinn not to sign him. Said, please don't sign me. And Pat Quinn is a players coach and players manager. And he said, okay. And that's why he went to the Sharks. And sadly, Sammy Comer says 7 was his number 2. Yeah, man. They used to chant Igor when I'd score, man. My teammates, I tried everything. I used to hang out and talk to him after games. I read it. I got his autobiography. He signed it for me. I still have it. Whatever. A big Igor Lariano fan, always. Okay, we'll move on. Philadelphia Phillies at Pittsburgh Pirates, 7:05 p.m. Eastern. These Phillies 52-47, 26-22 on the road at the Pirates, 40-59, 21-26 at home. We're at PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Bailey Falter versus Jose Quintana, and we have arrived at the second spot with full line value. It is the Pittsburgh Pirates, and unfortunately, Jose is not here to raise it, but we are. And those of you who were on the Pittsburgh Pirates team total over yesterday were richly rewarded. Let's go here and move on. Falter, Quintana, lefty versus lefty. We will start with the weather here in Pittsburgh. 81 Fahrenheit, 6.5 miles per hour out to center field, 6.5 to 5.9 all game long out to center. A nice offensive weather, but not ridiculous. From a line history situation here in Pittsburgh, we have a 10-cent move to the Pirates. 10-cent move to the Pirates. And a 10-cent move to the under. Pirates team that's hitting just 219, 655 OPS versus lefties. Falter coming off a poor performance in that 4-3 loss at home to the Cubs. Quintana off that spectacular performance at home versus Miami. Clearly raising value if he's going to move at the deadline. He's been so good at home this year. 3-3, 2.65 ERA, 245 opponents batting average. The Phillies are hitting 252, 756 OPS versus lefties. They've continued to hit lefties pretty hard, even without Bryce in the lineup. And the Phillies bullpen, 3.92 ERA, 1.34 whip, been slipping a little bit of late, but been better than expected, while this Pirates bullpen has been terrible. Let's take a look at the cash in this one. So we know they have the full line value. 5,182 tickets in. 56% of the tickets, 84% of the cash is on the Pittsburgh Pirates. 68% of tickets are on the over. We don't know. We don't know what's going on with the cash flow here. Is Quintana bet on, and do we bet on him right here, Babano?
Quintana is one of those pitchers that, this is probably it for him in terms of the final audition, if you will, before the trade deadline. And, whatever best effort and most max focus you're going to get out of Quintana, you're going to get it here. He's been a little too erratic lately, though, for my liking. Let's not forget, before that gem that he pitched against, let's be honest, sometimes a punchless Miami Marlins offense, he got crushed by the Rockies. He got crushed by the Brewers. So I understand this is a big start for him, and I expect him to, pitch as well as he possibly could, at least try to. But Philly's lineup is not an easy one to face. And, we saw what they did, obviously a lot of damage last night. Falter on the other side. He has been faltering. He's living up to his last name, 5.18 ERA, 6 ERA in the last 3 starts. Oh, he's putting the Falter in his name right now. Not pitching well. I would certainly lean Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh team total might actually be a decent way to go here, 3.5. I'm going to put that on the card. Give me a Pittsburgh team total over 3.5. I think they can get to 4 runs in this game. Yeah, we'll make that official. And then I don't have to worry about Quintana, what he does or doesn't do.
Pirates team total for Babano, which means we're going to have to hear an impression. Can you give us the raise it, the Jose raise it?
Raise it!
You need the arms, man. You need the arms.
Raise it! There you go.
I don't know. That was enough. All right. Team total over for Babano. Team total over. Let's grab it here. MLB. Move over to the Pirates. Get you the best team total we can find. 3.5.
Yeah, I'm telling you what. It's Pittsburgh's lineup can be sketchy, but Falter's sketchier.
119. Falter has been sketchy. Do you trust the Phillies to continue to hit versus lefties? Do you trust them to hit versus lefties without Harper in the lineup? Because I feel like that Quintana first 5 against Falter is a very legitimate bet here.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's to me, Quintana's just a wild card. I mean, it's just he's been good at home, 2.65 ERA. You know, he does have very good numbers here at PNC. That should help him. He actually shut down the Yankees here at PNC. 1 run, 6 hits, 5 innings. So I get it. You know, he's pitched well at home. I don't like a couple of the starts he's made recently, but those were on the road. Those were against capable. We know Colorado's a different offense at home. We know Milwaukee's, you know, hitting pretty well lately as well. So it's not like you can totally fault him for those 2 starts, Quintana. But I'm looking at his home track record. It's solid, especially in the last couple games. So, you know, I'm with you. I would lean Pirates first. Pirates first 5 might be a solid look. I'm just going to go with the team total instead because I don't want to be sitting there and here's Quintana kind of pitching like he did against Colorado, Milwaukee. That's still a bother to me.
I think I want to back Quintana here. And
I want no part of Philly and Bailey Falter, as you can clearly tell. That's for sure. I wouldn't endorse them.
Let's give a big shout out to Alfred44. Says, I appreciate the show more than I can describe. That means a ton to us. Alfred, thank you for being a part of it, being a part of the fam. I haven't seen your name in the chat often. So, and I know there's lots of people who just, you know, are either working or what have you, but that means a ton. Truly means a ton to us. And thank you for being part of the fam. And let's get that cash. I think the Pirates make sense to me here. Go back to that cash. How much cash has moved on? We know that the market's moved in their direction. And people will always hesitate betting them. 84. I'm going to take the Pirates first 5. It's going to be my look here that I will be adding to my card. Pirates first 5. So I think I am going to move on the Marlins first 5. You know, I'm sitting there with not having to pay a lot of juice. I'm more nervous about that than I am about this here. And TJ saying Falter getting hit by poor offenses. And we have a quick question for you, Babano, before we move into Cardinals Nationals. This is from Mike M. Says, question for Ian. Do you think you have a better team total record or a side or game total record?
That's a great question, actually. I would say my team totals have done very well. My game totals have been more hit or miss this year. So, and usually it's the opposite. Historically, it's the opposite. I'm very good with full game totals and the team totals, which I bet less back then, more now. I didn't do as well, but that's also why I'm betting more team totals now because they're doing well. It's kind of like, you know, you bet more the type of bets that you're doing well with, and you try to limit the type of bets you're maybe not doing so well with. So that's kind of what I'm doing. So I'm betting more team totals this year, doing better with them, and then full game totals. Years past, I bet less team totals. But that's also because in past years I've done better with full game totals. If that makes any sense, that's the answer though.
I like it. Brett Meyer says, "Why do you prefer Marlins first 5 instead of full game?" I want to cut the game down. Mets are a better baseball team. That's always the case for me. Simple.
And that TJ hit on a good point. Bailey Falter's getting hit by even bad lineups, bad offensive teams. So that's what gives me the faith Pittsburgh can get over 3.5.
Yeah, strategic investment says good spot for Pittsburgh to keep it close. Yeah, I like it. Mark Tequila says, don't get fooled into thinking the Phil's entire bullpen sucks after last night. White beater Familia gave it all 5 runs yesterday in the 9th. Everyone else has been pitching well. That's an important, not the, you know, I don't want to talk about Familia. I don't like him either. But you're right. The bullpen has been much improved lately. Moose Money says Falter has no out pitches. Breaking balls are getting crushed. And if hitters get to sit on fastballs and sinkers, very simple approach. If Falter gets an out pitch, though, could be bet on. And we're working on getting Moose Money to make his debut here on the show on Wednesday, working on a couple things to make that happen. Let's keep rolling. But I made 3 bets before the show. I'm hesitantly thinking about adding Alcantara first 5. And Pirates first 5, I like. That should have been on it already. All right, let's move on. 7:05 p.m. Eastern, the St. Louis Cardinals at Washington Nationals. We're at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. We have Miles Michaelis going up against Anibal Sanchez. So, obviously, Michaelis, much better pitcher than Sanchez. Cardinals are a much better team than the Nationals. But sports gambling doesn't work like that in MLB. And I was surprised when I saw no movement at all towards the Cardinals. We've seen what's happened just this week when I've talked about big favorites with no movement towards them. fading those spots, you'd be very rich after, or very rich, stupid, but you'd be up money after this week. So let's move over quickly. Let's start with the line history just because it's fresh in my mind. Why, if you look at Sanchez and you look at these Nats, would there be a 10-cent move towards the Washington Nationals? It's enough to stop you completely in your tracks. And that's what's happened to me. Just completely stopped in my tracks. We'll go over to the cash flow just while we're talking about it. 5,775 tickets in. You have 90% of the tickets and 89% of the cash on St. Louis, and there's been a 10-cent move to the Washington Nationals. And I've said before, you'll know I'm a better capper when I just start betting against those teams. Instead, it doesn't correlate with my capping, so I stay off. And I'm still comfortable being at that level and not maybe making the switch. If I didn't have a show and I didn't have to talk everything out and then be accountable for what I say, it'd be easier to bet something like this because I wouldn't have to explain it to anyone. I wouldn't have to explain maybe the simplicity of why I'm making this bet. 40% of the tickets, 86% of cash on the under here. 40% of tickets, 86% cash on the under. So if you take it to a different level, which I've been doing a ton of, which I did with Spencer Howard, you take it to a different level, the market's telling you that Sanchez is going to pitch well. If we already think that Michaelis is going to pitch well, maybe the under is the spot. From a total perspective, it opened up at 9, minus 115 to the over. It's now minus 9, minus 120 to the under. Let's go over to the weather. 81 Fahrenheit, feels like 87, 3.8 miles per hour right to left. The wind's all over the place, but very light, so it doesn't matter if it's out a little bit to left field an hour in, and then it's the complete opposite direction left to right in the second hour. So Michaelis, 7-8, 2.87 ERA, 0.99 WHIP. His road numbers are worse than his home numbers, but not that bad. 3-6, 3.51 ERA, 241 opponent's batting average. Look, the Cards are only 5 games over 500. They're not that good of a ball club. Everybody waiting for them to get Soto or something to spark this team because there was a lot of high expectations with this club in the offseason with this farewell party of Wainwright and Pujols. 5 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks. He got touched in his last start at the Reds. Sanchez, 3 earned runs in 5 innings, 7-2 loss at Arizona. I mean, he's only thrown 10 innings this year. He's allowed 3 home runs in those 10 innings. Why would the market be expecting a nice performance from him? It's really a tricky game here, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. Take it away, Babano. Cardinals, Nationals.
Over. I like over. I think Michaelis is a bet against for me in the second half. I see him. I see cracks in this armor, and this is an older guy. I could see him being hit a little bit here in the second half, and there's a lot of things that point toward him maybe regressing post All-Star break, and I think we're going to start seeing that from Michaelis. And this is just something that when I look at it here, he's already thrown a lot of innings this year. And his numbers still overall are good, but they do go up a little bit on the road, 3.5 compared to his overall 2.87 ERA. And I think he's going to give up some runs here. He gave up 6 runs, 7 hits, 5 innings in his last start against Cincinnati. And again, get this guy away from Busch Stadium. He's a lot more hittable. 3 runs, 5 hits, 6 innings against Atlanta, 4 on the road, 4 runs, 6 hits, 5.1 innings against Philly on the road. That's all here in the month of July. So you look at it, he's actually had some, I think, slightly below average road starts here this month. And it doesn't take much for me to want to fade Anibal Sanchez, at this stage of his career. Hasn't been good. Look, I want to give the Cardinals lineup credit. Your Dylan Carlsons and Pujols and others stepped up in that series against Toronto with no Goldschmidt and no Arenado because of the unvaccinated status. And they stepped up, and I was impressed with what I saw from the Cardinals there in that series. I like runs here in this game. I think the total 9, even money, plus 100 is what we're looking at here. I think that's probably the best we can get with that. Let me just double check. Over 9 plus 100 at Win Sportsbook looks like the best we can get with that. I think we're going to see runs. I think the Nationals will do enough against Michaelis. And look, the Cardinals bullpen too has been a little bit shaky up and down of late. Nats bullpen stinks, and Sanchez is terrible. So St. Louis should be able to get theirs. Over 9, St. Louis, Washington. Over 9 plus 105 at bookmaker. Thank you, but Billy, even better.
Plus 105. Okay, over 9 plus 105. This one makes me nervous. Yes, Rob Garvey, we have a B-Lab 69 tracking the full line value teams. Now, the full line value teams went 0-3 yesterday, but I know they're going to show a winning record this month. We had the record in June for them, and it was 13-10 plus 4.11 units with a plus money average line. And B-Lab will hook us up here, and I should have been doing it. And I will do it next year. One of the things is my tracking. I track so many different cappers who do the show, and it is pretty time consuming. St. Louis, Washington over 9 at plus 105. I'm leaning the other way. Moose Money says Sanchez metrics look great though. 2.9x ERA, 212x BA, 311x slugging. But I've noticed it takes time for metrics to catch up to poor performance. Mark Tequila looking at the Josh Bell plus 360. And Lee Davis says too much movement. Cardinals. The market is now. Who cares? It's tough to trust Sanchez, but he took a long time with his arm being rested. He did not look good in his first start. He looked better in his second start on the road, and here he is at home. Let me go. I'm leaning towards trying to get under this. If I do get under this, I wouldn't do it full game. I'd want to not focus on these. Well, the Cardinals bullpen is capable of better, but the Nats bullpen poor. So let's just quickly. I just wanted to look at batter versus pitcher here, and then we'll move on. Michaelis Sanchez, and here we go. Up. All right, first Sanchez. Arenado, Dickerson, Goldschmidt, they all hit him. And Pujols hits him, but I don't care about Pujols' numbers. And then versus Michaelis, Josh Bell, 2 homers in 28 at-bats, but And DJ, $100,000. Look at that. DJ, $100,000, man. I haven't seen him in a couple of years. DJ, $100,000. And he's been one of our guests. I respect DJ $100,000 in the house. What up, my man? Been too long. Nasty Nate, the CFL is a dangerous game today. I'm going up against Babano, Rod Zawacki, Ron Crawford.
Jimmy versus the world in that BC game. Yeah.
Well, Nuke Worker did jump with me. So it's I'm on the Riders. So, Joe Yuri says Cardinals only 11-9 with Michaelis on the ground on the mound. Okay, let me see what I would get for this first 5 under because I'm close to moving on it here. So I'd need a bounce back start from Michaelis against a team that doesn't hit righties, that's sitting here waiting for the deadline, and I would need an impressive start from Anibal Sanchez against a Cards team that doesn't have much power versus righties. Johnny Guns, thank you.
Juan Soto and Josh Bell have hit Michaelis a little bit as well. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, they have. I just feel like I'm being told that I'm going to get a nice start from Anibal Sanchez. I'm going to have to think on this longer, but I'm leaning towards the under 5. And by the way, I think I told you, as I've been tracking your would have bet unders, you went 1-1 yesterday. So you're 0.1 unit on the would have been unders that I'll continue to track. Okay,
Better
we move on.
0-2. Yeah.
Sorry, my man?
Better than 0-2.
Well, I truly think you'll have a winning record on these. That's why I'm doing it. 7:07 p.m. Eastern. Detroit Tigers 40-60, 15-33 on the road at the Toronto Blue Jays 55-44, 32-20 at home. Rogers Center, Toronto, Ontario. We have Brian Garcia on the hill against Alek Manoah. Brian Garcia. Oh, I got plus 100, Nasty Nate. I bet it on Tuesday morning or Monday night. I think I bet it on Monday night with the idea that Fajardo will be in the lineup. And Slatsy's also against me on this one. Slatsy's also on the Lions. So I would take the point or whatever it is to keep the VIG down. I don't think I'd take it to minus 120 or minus 125 personally. Okay, Brian Garcia going up against Alek Manoah, and we have it looked like we were going to get a minus 400, like with the Yankees game, and we do have a minus 400. So there was a 10-cent move at 9:49 a.m., which made sense to me. 10-cent move to the Tigers from plus 310 to plus 300, but it's come back. I guess everybody and their mom's using this on a parlay. Oh, you have a pick 'em? I'd take that. I'd take the money line at minus 110. That's great. And Johnny Gunn says, I don't see Goldschmidt or Arenado in the projected lineup. That's probably why the line is pointing towards the Nats. Why would they both not be in the lineup? That's hard to believe. Wow. Well, let's get more information on that because
but it was just unvaccinated, couldn't make the trip to Toronto. Wasn't injury related, so I'd be shocked if they're not in. Totally stunned by that. No, I think be careful if you're using RotoWire, and especially with projected line. I expect them to be in there.
So do I.
Yep.
So do I. I think that's it. Yeah, they just both got activated. Joe Yurkovich on Philadelphia, Pittsburgh over 8, and now New York, Miami first 5 tie.
Yep. Wow.
That's an interesting look. All right, let me copy and paste this. By the way, Sammy Coleman plus 290 or higher are 4-2 this year, plus 10 units. Holy shit. Plus 10 units. Okay, let me just copy and paste that stuff. All right, Brian Garcia is an interesting case study. 6th round pick out of the University of Miami. He's had terrible numbers in 2021 last year. This is his first start of 2022 in the show. 7.55 ERA last year, 1.86 whip, 32 strikeouts and 39 and a third, which is fine, and 25 walks. So it's the walks that are his problem. This year for the Toledo Mudhens, he's got great numbers, right? 1 and 2, 2.90 ERA, 1.44 whip. Only allowed 4 home runs and 40 and third, but he's 31 Ks and 22 walks. Well, that doesn't cut it in Major League Baseball. You need to so you can't just walk batters, and that's why his numbers are so terrible. Going up against the Bulldog, Alek Manoah, God, this guy's just a G on the mound. He gives the whole team more confidence and just makes the whole team tougher. And 11 and 4, 2.24 ERA, 0.97 whip, looking to be a Cy Young finalist this year. 120 and 2/3, 110 Ks, 25 walks, 11 home runs allowed. His last start, 4-1 win at Boston, 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 7 Ks, no walks. At home, been even better than he's been on the road. Well, of course, I hate when I say that because you're expected to be better on the home. 6-1, 2.10 ERA, 189 points batting average. Tigers worst team in the league against righties, 213, 585 OPS. Blue Jays versus righties, 270, 779 OPS. Best team against righties in the league. Tigers bullpen so good this year, 3.06 ERA, 1.21 whip, converted 23 of 30. The Jays bullpen being a little better of late. Let's take a look at the cash here and also the weather. We didn't touch on the weather. It's going to be a beautiful day here. 75 Fahrenheit, 12.2 miles per hour in. So it's coming north to south. It goes down to 8 miles per hour by the end. Let's take a look at the cash flow. I'm really interested in the cash flow here. We have 5,699 tickets in. This is so wild. Some wild shit, man. You know there's syndicates that work here. This is wild. I mean, this is the wildest thing I've seen all year long. 6% of the tickets are on the Tigers and 92% of the cash. So syndicates have come in and are making big bets on some of these dogs. 50-50 with the total, but 86% tickets on the under. So there's an expectation that Brian Garcia is going to pitch well. We know that Manoah is going to pitch well. Maybe the under is an option. And if it is, you probably got to go full game with it. Take it away, Babano. Tigers, Blue Jays.
Yeah, I'm not betting this game at all. I'm not going against Manoah. No way. Jays probably should win, but there's no value. We can move on. Simple as that.
No worries. I think this under is very interesting. Let's just see the market move on the under. Open at 8, juice to the under. It's now juiced to the over. It got heavily juiced to the over. It was minus 130. It just came back 15 cents.
Same with the total. I'm in no rush to bet a Manoah start over, but at the same time, it's an 8.5 in Toronto with that offense. It's scary. So no side, no total.
Don Max says, I like the under. Garcia won't go deep. Detroit's pen has held Toronto before. Jake Burns also liking the under. It's just like Brian Garcia could get these, are you watching like Lourdes Gurriel hit right now? I mean, these guys, they're so patient. Yeah. Oh, he's hitting. He's the best hitter right now at this moment in Major League Baseball. I like the under as well. I do. Let's go with yeah, I do. I think I move on this under and I move on at full game. DJ 100 grand focusing on the first 5. I don't think I need to do that, but it's probably the best way of betting it. If Brian Garcia can just pitch average, it'll get pulled quick. That's probably the best way of doing it. TJ says, what the Detroit? It's 8.5 for me. Let's see what Pinnacle's hanging it at. Quickly here, move over to this very fast. Pinnacle's hanging that at 8, slightly juiced to the over. Minus 108 to the over at 8.5. I kind of like the under. Oh, the team total for the Tigers. Let's get that for you. The team total at Pinnacle. This is fucking 2.5. Jesus Christ. 2.5?
Wow.
It's not even that juice to the over. It's minus 122. LJ from 87 says Blue Jays are 9-3-1 last 13, first 5 over. Eric Jones liking the over. That's pretty blustery wind coming in. Now it's not, it's nice warm wind, but okay. Sorry. Let me ask you, but I know it's interesting to hear your take because I know you do not like betting unders. If you were forced to bet an under here, you were forced to with a free bet, $500 bet.
Right.
Do you take the full game under 8.5 at minus 105, or do you take the first 5 under 4.5 at minus 110?
Wow. That's you know what? The Blue Jays bullpen's been very good since the All-Star break. Very good. And obviously they weren't good, for most of the first half of the season. But everybody's gotten it. And Detroit's bullpen is kind of streaky. Some good days, some not so good days. I wouldn't mind probably the full game as opposed to the first 5 for this game, just because I think the Tigers bullpen's been a little bit better. The Jays bullpen's been very good. I mean, John Schneider's got all his relievers in the roles he wants them. He's got Timmy Meza back, the situational lefty. He's been great. Adam Simber has become pretty much the setup guy. He's been great. Obviously, Romano closing has been excellent for the most part. So that Jays bullpen's performing right now. So I wouldn't mind taking a chance on the full game for this particular game.
I think so. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to. That's not going to be. Shouldn't add to one of your under leans, should I?
No, because I'm not betting it. I'm not betting it anyway because it's an under. But I would not be looking to bet an under in this game, so that's why I wouldn't put it on.
Yeah, cool. No, that's the way I like to do it. All right, let's move on. This is the spot that I attacked last night. It was now. So I have I do a radio spot in Toronto at 7:10 in the morning on Fridays, and I noticed over the last 2 months I have a negative ROI, and I tried to do it differently. I thought about it a lot over the All-Star break. I was like, and I've talked about it on the show where the bets I make talking it out with you guys are better than the ones that I do on my own volition. And with this, I did it differently. And I went over these games and over and over and over. And I looked at what I could take from the market movement because there had been 7 hours of movement. So there's enough time to get some information off of it. Obviously not as much as we get when we do the morning show. And I just thought this is the single best game on the board for me. And the best bet I've seen in a long time was Cleveland, Tampa, first 5 over 3 at minus 125. I could not believe that they would give us a 3. It just didn't make sense. Now, I know the Rays offense is poor, but Bieber has allowed 11 earned runs in his last 11 2/3 on the road. And so is he going to be able to shut down this? He's not the pitcher he was. He's still able to change velocity, but he can't throw nearly as hard as he used to. Yes, Ronnie Umberg, TSN is a Toronto-based channel, yes. Bieber, Jeffrey Springs. So you have Bieber, who was dynamite on the road to start the year. Hasn't been lately. His last start, he allowed 6 earned runs at the White Sox in a 6-3 loss. And Jeffrey Springs at home is a monster. 1.76 ERA. Opponents hitting 219 against them. And you have a Guardians team that's hitting 226-13 OPS versus lefties. So the Rays first 5, I moved on at -110. And the Cleveland Tampa first 5 over 3 at -125. I couldn't give out the Cleveland Tampa first 5 over 3 this morning on the radio show because it had moved to 3.5. And I was certain that would happen. I was just certain that would happen. So let's take a look first at the line history here in Tampa. We have the Rays opening up -115. They went down to -110. They're back at -115. I'd be curious just to see what the first 5 is quickly in this Tampa spot. Here we go. The first 5 is -115 of the Rays. So 5 cents better now, or 5 cents worse. So I beat the line 5 cents. I like seeing that. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 6.5. It moved to 7 minutes ago. 7 minutes ago, they moved it from 6.5 to 7. I'm very comfortable and confident here. Let's go over to the cash flow. Sorry. And then we'll hand it over to Babano. There is 20% line value on Cleveland, but the betting public doesn't believe that. 53% of the ticket, 64% of the cash on Tampa, and then 76% of the ticket, 74% cash on the over. Yeah, I get it. Take it away here, Babano. Guardians race.
Yep, over 6.5. I got 6.5 -128 FanDuel. I actually bet it when it was -122, over 6.5 at FanDuel, but it's -128 right now. I think it's a great over. I mean, 6.5 with the way Bieber's form has been lately. I mean, he's not that dominant ace pitcher right now. He's not. And you're right. He's not throwing as hard. The miles per hour, the velocity's declined just a little bit. And on the flip side, look, Springs has been lights out at home, and maybe he's going to be that way again, but he hasn't been great the last couple starts. Now, again, away from Tampa Bay, I get that, but, I think Cleveland can do enough. And I don't like either bullpen. Cleveland's bullpen's been kind of disappointing at times. Now, they've been better this week, but, last week, 2 weeks ago, that Cleveland bullpen was just not pitching well. And don't look now, Tampa Bay's bullpen the last 10 games, they've got a 4.6 ERA almost. So they have not been shutting the door quite as much either. So I think you've got lots of opportunities to get these two teams at least to 7 runs combined. I thought 6.5 was short over the total.
I found a -121 at Circa.
All right, we'll go with that.
All right.
I don't look at Circa, but that's good. We'll use that.
So giving us a final score of 3-2. Moose Money says Bieber still throws fastballs 34% of the time. He needs to pitch backwards way more. Says the velocity problems have made his fastball super hittable. 306 batting average, 470 slugging. All his other pitches still elite. 118 at Bet Rivers. Thank you, Stella Girl. There we go. Over 6.5 at -118.
Excellent.
Bet Rivers. Oh, that's the under 6.5. We're looking for the over.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That can't be minus. Right? That's got to be. I think he means the over, because if the under was 6.5, that would mean or -118, then the over would be like, plus 100. Or something like that. So that's, I think we're good. Over 6.5 -118. Thank you, Stella Girl. All right. And Jeffrey Morris says, I've never bet a team to score first prop, but Astros to score first seems like a good one to pop his cherry. Yeah, I meant the over. I feel you, Stella Girl. Thank you. Okay. Locked in there for Babano, over 6.5 -118. I'm on the first 5 over 3 at -125. I was certain. I was like, that's got to be, it's just a mistake to me. You push with 3 runs. I was like, someone's going to hammer that. I wish I had hammered that. It was a mistake that I just bet a regular unit. I've got to start getting more confident. I should. So I've only done that 3 times, double the 2 units bets in the last 3 weeks. I've cashed them all. That one was when I should have done it. I'm not going to let those pass anymore. It's a mistake. Okay, we move on. 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Milwaukee Brewers 55-44, 29-24 on the road at the Boston Red Sox 50-50, 25-25 at home. Fenway Park in Boston. See what we're dealing with here. Weather-wise, 84 Fahrenheit, 9.2 miles per hour out to right center, dies down to 7.4 miles per hour. Go to the line history in this Brewers Red Sox tilt. And all right. Whenever I asked my dad where my mom was, and they broke up when I was 10. So this gag didn't go on for too long. Went on for about 5 or 6 years. My dad would always tell me that she was in Milwaukee brewing beer. She'd always tell me that. He'd always tell me that. That's where my mom was when I couldn't find. He's like Milwaukee brewing beer. So I've carried that tradition on. So anytime Ella or Carter asks where mom is, she's Milwaukee brewing beer. I have a soft spot for Milwaukee, and I wanted to bet Woodruff today against Bayo. There's been a 10-cent move towards the Brewers, and the total is exactly where it started, minus 115 to the over 9. I could not do it, though, only because of Woodruff's road numbers. Do I really? But the price makes sense. But I could understand why this isn't a minus 180 or something like that, because when is Bayo going to step up? And Woodruff has a 5.26 ERA and a 272 opponent's batting average on the road. I don't think you should get past those numbers. They're just not good enough to back a road favorite, and a big road favorite at that. 74% of the tickets are on the Brewers, but just 52% of the cash. And it's enough to keep me off. 16% of the tickets are on the under, and 61% of cash is on the under. So maybe Bayo got scratched, says Don Mac.
He's not. He's pitching though. He's not going to be the opener, but he's still pitching. Very important to point that out.
Okay,
very
so
important to point that out. So Austin Davis is going to start, the lefty. He's going to be the opener. He's going to pitch probably an inning, and then it's going to be Bayo after that. He'll be the primary pitcher though.
Okay, cool. Okay, important to know that. Okay, Moose Money says Woodruff's bad numbers are extremely isolated. 3 games on the road. Says was on the Brewers until the pitching change. Now get to go recap. Thank you, Up 5. Thank you. I don't know why I bothered to tell, but I've been using she's in Milwaukee to brew beer heavily, often lately, thinking of when I was younger there. And wow, look who we have here. There's been a lot of questions about this man. Let's just finish this Brewers. Well, you know what? Let's bring him in right now. If we're talking about his Boston Red Sox. Didn't get home till 6:30 this morning. A big night for him. He was the announcer at Foxy Boxing, where the strippers beat each other up and then dance. Please welcome to the show, Jose Zinata Bouquet. How are you, Jose?
Hello, gentlemen. I'm doing all right. I am tired, yes. But, my sixth sense came in, and I heard that we're talking Red Sox, so I had to jump in,
Well, we also want to hear what you think of these minus 400 spots. Good
Jesus,
questions.
there's minus 400s today?
Yeah, there's 2.
Oh, my God.
There's 2.
No, I just literally rolled out of bed and put on my computer, so I have not looked at a line.
James S. wants to know how he can send videos to the Daily Sesh. We would love that. That would take some of because it's tough coming up with videos, so I'm sure the guys would love that help. Okay, so Jose, Bayo is not starting. You have an opener here. You have a ton of money coming in on the Red Sox.
Is it Austin Davis opening?
Is that yes? I believe it is. Yes.
He's been pretty good at being an opener this year, so that's not bad. Is Bayo gonna be a primary today then?
Yeah.
As you can tell, I literally just rolled out of bed. And are there really minus 400 spots today? Fuck.
There are 2.
That's
one is your nemesis Garrett Cole.
Well, that sounds about right. Why is he minus 400? That's insane. Whatever. And I had a tough day yesterday, so I can't really talk shit. But I'm pretty shocked the Red Sox won yesterday, TBH. Cutter Crawford kept surprising me. And Bayo, I don't know if Bayo's going to get there to the point where he's surprising me now. It's just constant shit. And obviously he's young. I'm not going to expect it for forever, but maybe it'll keep running like this. And it's Woodruff today. So I have not looked at the line. It's got to be like minus 150 Brewers, right?
It opened at minus 165. Did it opened up? By the way, H you can't say H for H is heroin, so you can't say H is for honest. It's heroin. It opened at minus 155. It's now minus 165.
Wow, that's surprising. Well, not really surprising. I mean, this team sucks ass. I was surprised they won yesterday. Woodruff, since he came back from his rehab start, Woodruff is the only person that his rehab starts literally mimic his actual starts since he came back. And his 2 rehab starts after his little hand thing earlier in the year, he struck out like 12 dudes, 1 in like 3 innings, which you know how that goes, and then the other in 5 innings. So I was like, okay, so it looks like Woodruff's got a strikeouts bat. He brought it into the league, or brought it into the season, I should say, and did that. But I guess I'm obviously just got to lean the Brewers run line or Brewers team total, to be honest, especially if I'm going to guess again, the total is at like a 9. You could probably get a Brewers team total at 4.5, maybe at a decent price. That's what I've been betting against the Red Sox his last couple of days. Didn't work. I didn't love the 2 losses. Obviously, I don't think it worked out for the Guardians, but Brewers offense is shockingly, better or just as good as the Guardians. So I just don't expect Bayo to have a good start here.
Huh. Okay. And how do you want to handle this one, Babano?
Oh, yeah, this is Milwaukee double up. First 5 full game run line for me. First 5 run line, I believe, -118, -0.5. I think I like that a little bit better than the full game run line, although I should like the full game run line just as much because I don't think Boston's bullpen's been very good lately. But I like the first 5 -0.5. I believe -118, Pinnacle, best line out there with that. So we'll go with that with the Brewers, and also the -1.5 with the Brewers in this one. Which is currently +102 at Heritage. So that looks like the best line. +102 for that -1.5 on Milwaukee. Very simple. Woodruff's been great. You're right. Since coming off the IL, looks like a different pitcher. The one concern, and I'm also going to be on the over in this game, over 9. You can add that, Jimmy. Over 9, -110 at Pinnacle. Over 9, -110. My one concern is the road numbers of Brandon Woodruff. Over 5 ERA on the road is not great. That does concern me just a little bit, as does the fact that he does sometimes still struggle to give up the home run ball, just on occasion. Now, lately it's been better, but I know early in the year, again, pre-injury, you have to trace it back to then. He's been great in terms of negating the home runs since the IL, but this was mostly a pre-IL stint issue with him, but he was giving up a lot of home runs then. Fenway, of course, will give up and play to home runs, so it does concern me a bit. Boston could score a little bit here, but I think Milwaukee will do damage. I mean, Davis is an opener role. I might be able to get the job done, but the prospects of seeing Bayo after that, who's just been crushed every single time that he's taken the mound this year. And look at this Brewers lineup right now. They are just destroying the baseball. They are in phenomenal form as of late. You look at the Brewers last 9 games, they scored 5, 1, 5, 6, 9, 10. They had games where they got shut out by Freeland, and then they bounced back against the Twins and scored 17 runs in that series against both Archer and Bundy of the Twins. So that lineup is feeling it right now. The Milwaukee Brewers. Yelich is hitting. Tellez is crushing it all of a sudden. The former Blue Jay. Brewers very impressive. So, and Boston, I've been going against them pretty routinely since the All-Star breaks, like a lot of people. So, first 5 full game run line Brewers.
And the over. I can completely understand the rationale from the breakdown, but the market does scare me for those spots. So I will be staying off. We will find out if Jose is on these or fading these -400s on Say Hey plays of the day today, because he's going to need to look at the spot.
Yeah, I'm going to need to look.
Okay.
I'm going to need to look. I'll be honest.
We have Arizona, Atlanta coming up, and the taint play of the day. But we do need, before you go to hear, how was last night as you hosted Foxy Boxing? What were the highlights and how did it go?
Well, it's very interesting because the strip club fighting boxing association that I've made up in my head is very unpredictable. The judges, of course, as in every strip club event, is the crowd. So there might have been some robberies last night. There was 2 title fights, 2 of them light heavyweight and heavyweight championship. Unfortunately, no knockouts. That was the disappointing part. And then they had a late drop at the end of the fight. So they just pulled two random broads into the ring, and they fought it out as well. So that was interesting as well. A young lady came on the broadcast, pimped out her OnlyFans. That was interesting. I was interested as well, Jimmy, as you would say, and then a lot interested. Yeah. And it kept on going to a point, and then not anymore.
Suddenly no interest whatsoever.
Yeah, it's that how that goes. But we had some good fights. And like I said, I mean, this was I'll show you a little peeky at the heavyweight championship fight. Probably the best 1-2 combo of the night. They did learn some things from the last fight though, so less titties coming out, unfortunately, and no cheap shots this time too. No
Good.
cheap shots.
Good.
Cleaned it up.
Shit.
There, yeah, she the little girl, that was the heavyweight championship fight, and that was the heavyweight champion fucking giving her the old 1-2 combo right there. So yeah, and we got to decide a fight. We actually got to pick a winner of a fight. So maybe I've got a bounty on my head now, who knows? But it was overall a good night. The clips, the videos are up on Pub Culture Radio right now. They're very easy to watch. I think that's the best part about it too. Aside from visually, it's very appealing. They're about 10 minutes each. These fights are short. We go on right before the fights. We go in blind every time. We learn everything as you guys are learning it, and it's a good time. Shout out to all of our performers. Jinx, it was a good time. Jinx, special athlete. Let me tell you, built different.
Well, I find myself less aroused as the first one, but maybe I need to see some more clips. We're going to get back into MLB here, and I guess I do want. I guess I do like the dicey shit. Anybody pull a blades, shit like that. I guess I do kind of want that to happen.
Unfortunately, there was no incidents like someone running, getting tased 17 times by like 6 cops, and a female cop getting body bagged in the process.
Sure.
However, I'll tell you, there's not many hostile places to go for females, but this is a strip club just seems to be like just fuel to the fire. Whenever they go there, it's just war. They just want to fight, and they get very hostile, and it gets tense. It gets me nervous. I start sweating. I'll admit it. I get nervous. So a very interesting night, a good night. And I'll give everyone a peek behind the curtain. Obviously, I did not leave this fight empty-handed. I have a lovely Diamond Show Club shirt.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
I rep the merch. Unfortunately, as of course all strip club shirts go, it has to be a neon color because under the black light we gotta look cool. So yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to see the footage. It's up at Pub Sports Radio right now on our YouTube or on
Pub
Sports
Culture Radio. Yeah.
Pub Culture Radio. Okay.
Yeah, Pub
Sweet.
Culture Radio. On our
I should let you
YouTube
know.
page.
I should let you know. We got to get into this Braves game, but I should let you know that Babano did raise it. So he's on the Pirates team totaled over. Congratulations on catching that yesterday, Jose. All right, let's get back to work right now. Great to have Jose back in business. Arizona Diamondbacks at the Atlanta Braves, and we have reached none other. Speaking of tits. The taint play of the day is the Braves on the run line at -110. Matty Ice coming off a +140. Casher yesterday was sweet 10. Madison Bumgarner going up against Kyle Wright. I studied this quite a lot yesterday, and I did not move on it. A spreadsheet spot, not the spreadsheet play of the day, which is coming up next, but a spreadsheet spot also on the Braves. Bumgarner, 6-9, 3.71 ERA, 1.33 WHIP, 104 and a third. Coming off a great start at home. He's been very good at home this year. Went 8 innings, 9 strikeouts, and a 7-2 win home over Washington. He's been bad on the road. 1-6, 4.71 ERA, 282 opponents batting average. He's got pretty good numbers against this lineup, but hard to get over those road numbers. Going up against Kyle Wright, 12-4, 2.95 ERA, 1.16 whip, 115 Ks, 34 walks, 10 home runs. Joe Yurkovich is on Arizona at plus 195. We were waiting for that. Joe Yurkovich on Arizona at plus 195. And Dabra Kadabra on the Braves' first 5 run line. And the team total over 5. Kyle Wright coming off a 7-2 win at home versus the lowly Angels. 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 8 Ks, no walks. At home, his splits are fine. At home, he's 8-2, 3.08 ERA, 226 opponents batting average. Fine on the road, fine at home. Diamondbacks versus righties, 221, 690 OPS. Braves versus lefties, 259, 781 OPS. Diamondbacks bullpen, a full run, 1.03 runs worse per 9 innings than the Braves bullpen. Let's take a look at the weather first in Truist Park. We have 85 Fahrenheit, feels like 92. Right to left, slightly out, 7.9 miles per hour. And by the final hour of the game, it's 6.1 miles per hour, and it's right to left with no movement out at all. We'll take a look at the line history in this one. The line history here, we have no movement. Open to minus 220. At one point it got to minus 215, one time minus 225, but it's right there. But it has gone up from 8.5 to 9, just to the under. So that's very interesting. Let's take a look and see if the cash follows suit with this one ATL spot. 7,439 tickets in. 13% of the tickets, 38% of the cash is on Arizona. That makes sense that there's been no line movement. 49% of tickets, 66% of the cash on the under. Take it away here, Babano. Bumgarner, Kyle Wright. Diamondbacks, Braves.
Yeah, I'm just going to go with the Braves first 5 minus a half. I like that. I like Kyle Wright at home. Barely a 3 ERA at home. He's pitched extremely well at home this year. The first 5 numbers for him have been great lately. Braves have gotten leads first half of the ball game, pretty much most of Kyle Wright's starts of late. So I'm just going to go with that. I don't trust necessarily Bumgarner here in this spot. Obviously Atlanta for most of the year, they've hit left-handed pitching pretty well. So we'll go with Atlanta here, minus a half, minus 140. First 5 innings, that's at Pinnacle.
Babano, Braves, first 5 minus a half. What was it at? Sorry?
Minus a half, minus 140. First 5.
Minus 140. Interesting. I would like to take another look at this total. So it's gone from 8.5 to 9. And it's sort of a coin flip. 66% of the tickets on the under. What does Pinnacle have this total at? Kind of feel like the numbers that Bumgarner has against these guys are genuine. And even though he's got bad road numbers, it's still 8.5 here. It's plus 102 to the under. And what would the 9? What's the 9 here? Wow, under 9 minus 124. Huh. And if I wanted to go first 5 under with these two guys, I mean, it's not really offensive, whether it's offensive heat, but not wind. They possibly give me a 5. They will give me a 5. I don't see why I wouldn't take that 5. I don't see why I wouldn't take that 5. I think I'm going to move on the first 5 under here. First,
I hear what Joe's saying about Arizona's playing well lately. Yeah, they're 6-1 their last 7, but keep in mind the Nationals and the floundering Giants, were the 2 opponents. I mean, Atlanta is a big step up in class comparison. No, they played well. Don't take nothing wrong. Take nothing away from Arizona, but yeah, this is a much better opponent now they're facing this weekend.
All right, Babano has moved on the Braves first 5 minus a half. He's in good company, and that company includes Dabra Kadabra. Matty Ice is on the Braves run line at minus 110, and I have interest in that first 5 under. Mark Tequila on that as well. Don Mack finding it interesting, maybe moving over. R2D2 is on the over at 9. Lit Picks talking about Kyle Wright says, love how this kid's maturing in front of our eyes. Nasty curveball and throws everything in the upper 90s. He's held teams to 2 runs or less in his last 6 games in the first 5. Atlanta double result at minus 120 for Lit Picks. And again, there does seem to be some sharp action on the under. 49% of tickets, 66% of the cash. And R2D2, Finland finding a number with the Diamondbacks plus 2. 2. Okay, Mikey, I'm loving that under. Okay. All right. I like it. Okay, let's move on. So we just talked taint. Now we get to talk spreadsheet. The Chicago White Sox on the -1 line for our Ron Crawford. Oakland Athletics 38-63, 21-30 on the road at the White Sox, 49-49, 21-27 at home at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois. I said this off the top of the show. Look, I want to back Lance Lynn. The last time he threw a 6-inning shutout was in San Francisco. It was 4 starts back, and I was like, watch this. I think he's going to turn the corner here. And he got lit up. Obviously, that's in my head. But James Caprillion it feels like models love this guy. And all of the big bets have come in on the A's. And it was just enough for me to stop myself in my tracks. One of the differences between that shutout in 6 innings in San Francisco was it was on the road and he came back home. I want Lance Lynn to have a couple starts in a row at home and get his confidence back. Maybe it's going to happen here. Last out, he went 6 innings, 3 hits, no one run, 6 Ks, 1 walk, and a 5-4 win at home versus the Guardians. He's not being very good at home this year. 5.16 ERA, 227 opponent's batting average. Caprillion coming off a nice start at home, and his splits are fine. He's pretty much the same on the road as he is at home. Opponent's rating 227 against him on the road, but he does have 4.87 ERA. That was 5 innings, not allowing a run, 3-0 win at home versus the Rangers. The bullpens are very, very similar here, but we expected the White Sox bullpen to be excellent, and we thought the A's bullpen was going to be trash. TJ took a stab on Oakland at +183. Billy Friedrich said, I'd rather bet White Sox tomorrow with Cueto going. He's been the White Sox MVP this season. Billy Friedrich says Jose Abreu splits. In June, he batted .346 with his .533 slugging. In July, he's batting .348 with a .500 slugging. His total base props at over 1.5 +110, still getting plus money. Still getting plus money. Viper says, can't trust Lance Lynn. Let's take a look at the weather here in Chicago. 76 Fahrenheit, 7.7 miles per hour out to right center, dies down to 5. Let's take a look at the line history in this A's White Sox spot. Here we go. We have a 5-cent move to the A's. The White Sox have gone from -210 to -200, 175 to 170 respectively. And this total has moved 5 cents to the under. So let's take a look at the cash flow and see if it's still the same here. 5,081 tickets in, it's still the same. 25% of tickets, but 62% of the cash on the Oakland A's. Then you have 53% of tickets, 71% cash on the under. And neither team hits righties well. The A's 212-609, White Sox 251-674. The weather's not very offensive, and this under is taking 5 cents. So maybe this is another possible first 5 under. Take it away here, Babano. A's, White Sox.
I got to see more from Lynn. Lynn was much better against Cleveland, no question. But really, before that, it's been tough on him. He struggled. I'd like to see a little bit more evidence of him figuring it out, doing better. Now, he's dominated Oakland. You look back at his track record against them since 2019. He's given up 2 runs or less in 7 starts against Oakland since 2019. So he's pitched really well against this team. He did finally have a great start against Cleveland. Can he sustain that, carry that over here against Oakland tonight? I don't like Caprillion much at all. 4.74 ERA overall, 4.87 on the road. It's been a little bit better lately. I'll give him that. But it's over a pass. I'm on the fence, though, and I've got a lot of other plays. So right now it's just a lean to over 8.
These teams just don't. Do you think the White Sox are going to start showing power against righties as they get healthier down the stretch? I mean, they've just shown nothing. That's been confounding to me, and you can only blame injuries for so long. At some point, Luis Roberts out. They've had obviously Moncada's been in and out. They had Eloy Jimenez out for a while. I mean, they've had obviously a ton of injuries and issues with that lineup staying healthy, but there still should be enough there that they should be more productive than they've been. You mentioned against righties, the numbers aren't great. Last 10 games, last 10 games against righties, they've been a little bit better. 298 average during that span. For the season, not great, obviously, but they have been starting to come around a little bit more, the White Sox, against right-handed pitching here the last 10 games. That's what gives me
faith, if you will, that they could maybe do some damage here tonight in this game.
I like the way Caprillian's been pitching. I'm actually leaning towards another
good.
First 5 under 4.5. What are your Pimp Slot play today? Oakland first 5 plus half. What are your thoughts of Lance Lynn down the stretch? Do you expect him to be the bulldog that we remember?
If he pitches well tonight, I should have an opinion now. But if he pitches well tonight, I'm going to say, yeah, he could salvage his season and really be good down the stretch. But one good start in the midst of a horrendous season by Lance Lynn standards is not good enough for me to change my mind. So I got to see another good start or two from Lance Lynn. I know he was great last time against Cleveland for the first time in a while, but I need more evidence, more sample size, not just conjecture.
I hear you. Yeah, we need to see it. And he's coming off a nice start. And if he does it again here, I don't think Caprillion gets lit up by this White Sox team that just doesn't have enough power. So I'm leaning towards that first 5 under 4.5 and may just pull the trigger. Let's move on to 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Seattle Mariners 54-46, 27-23 on the road at the Houston Astros, 65-35, 31-14 at home at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. Big shout out to the Taint play of the day and the spreadsheet play of the day, both on the Astros yesterday, and both came through. There's Dave Burke in the house. Thanks, Berkey, my guy. If you want to check out Berkey headlines all across Canada, headlining comic in our chat. Also runs the amateur night on Tuesday nights here in downtown Toronto at Yuck Yucks. Okay, Rob Ray going up against Justin Verlander here. Mariners, Astros. We know that roof will be closed. Let's start with the line history in this one. Here we go. This was a fascinating one as well. There's been a 10-cent move towards the Mariners. From a total perspective, it opened up at 7.5 and only lasted there for 24 minutes before it dropped to 7. And at times, that 7's been pretty juiced to the over. It was at minus 130 for a while. It's minus 125 right now, juiced to the over. Let's take a look at the cash flow here in the Mariners Astros spot. We have slight line value. I'd say 15% line value on the Seattle Mariners and huge bets coming in on them. 19% of the tickets, 72% of the cash. 56% of tickets, 57% cash on the over. So people are trusting that Rob Ray is going to have a bounce back start against these Astros after getting lit up at home. And they must be expecting Verlander to get touched this time because Verlander had the bounce back start in his last start against the Mariners. Because 2 starts back, it was in Seattle. And he got lit up for how many home runs in the first inning? I mean, they teed off of him, and then he bounced back very well. So they're expecting clearly zigzag type performances here. But how can you trust Ray when he's got a 5.09 ERA, 254 opponents batting average on the road? It's very tough. And then Verlander's been so good at home. UCapper in the house says Houston 21-4 full game under his favorites. Wow. Versus starting left-handed pitchers. When lines minus 135 or greater. Houston 10-0 to the under. Wow, that's wild stats, UCapper. So UCapper seeing an under here. They're expecting Rob Ray to pitch wet. I mean, this is a tricky cap. Mariners versus righties 233, 700 OPS. Astros versus lefties 235, 723 OPS. That number is actually getting better. Mariners bullpen 3.4 ERA, 1.10 whip, being very good. Astros bullpen 2.73 ERA, 1.12 whip, converted 31-40, best in baseball. Take it away here, Babano, Mariners, Astros.
Yeah, Altuve and Kyle Tucker have mashed Robbie Ray. I mean, definitely huge numbers, huge production against him in the past. So that is definitely something you want to be aware of, particularly for props tonight. No doubt about that. I didn't like Ray's. Obviously, got crushed by Houston in his last start, and that pretty much upended what had been just a dominant run for Robbie Ray. I have a hard time projecting what he's going to do tonight. Again, you're seeing the same team again for a second straight start. On the flip side, you got Verlander. All he does is, keep teams for the most part, 2 runs or less. That's pretty much what we've seen from Verlander outside of, that one bad start at Seattle way back in May. And, it did give up 4 against Miami and 7 against the White Sox, May and June. But you talk about since late June, it's been 2 runs or less given up by Verlander in 5 straight starts, and trending under as well. 5 straight unders, by the way, for Justin Verlander starts going into this game. So I'm not betting it. It's a pass. And look, I've been waving the flag for Seattle. I've been riding Seattle a bunch. I've kind of gotten off the train the last few days. They're starting to cool off a little bit. I could only look Houston here with Verlander's numbers, with Ray's struggles, in the last start. A couple of the Astros hit him well. I'd lean Astros and lean under. This would be a lean to the under. Like if there was if I bet more unders, I'd probably look at an under in this game, a first 5 and a full game split with that.
All right. Well, let's add that to I've created a new spreadsheet for you.
There we go. The spreadsheet of would-be unders for me. Yeah.
Would-be unders. Yeah, I stuff.
It's worth keeping an eye on it.
You're a fun capper to track because of your high volume.
Yeah.
Mariners, Astros. The full game right now is 7.5 to the under at -118 at Pinnacle. That's a low. 7.5 to -118. So let's just do the would-be Bobano unders. Full game under 7.5 -118. And the first 5 is under 4 -117. I'm going to stay off this. They've had such extreme sort of. I know that I was told I was pronouncing Jekyll wrong in Jekyll and Hyde, which is crazy, but because of all the theater that we've seen with them in the movies. But it's just the zigzag theory is just not something I'm going to put money on. Although I do get it, it just has to correlate with the way I see a game banging out. I find this quite tricky. Johnny Gunn says, "Did you mention the batter versus pitcher stats? Did I miss that?" Let's pull that up. Sure, let's pull that up. And they're going to be wild because we've seen both of these pitchers get tagged by the opposition here.
Ty France and J.P. Crawford do have good numbers against Verlander. The young stud Julio Rodriguez has not done well against Verlander. He's only 2 for 12.
You see a lot of youngsters have trouble with Verlander. And then Altuve, 579 against Ray. He'll be at the top of the lineup licking his chops. Tucker, 571. Yeah, this is a no move for me. Okay. Babano.
A lot of volatility. I agree. Stay away.
Yeah. Okay. We are going to move on. 8:40 p.m. East. Oh, Sun Dizzle said, last time I listened to you about Seattle versus Finlander, it was a big loss for me live. Yes, Sun Dizzle went to that game. Do you remember that game when
that was both... the Seattle game? And they just got mashed in Seattle. 6-1, I think, Seattle, yeah.
And Sun Dizzle was in like the fourth row right behind the catcher with money on the Astros first 5 -1.
Didn't go well.
No, I shouldn't be laughing. No. I shouldn't be laughing. And he was wearing all his Mariners gear.
Yeah.
And fading the team. Lessons learned. And Sun Dizzle will arrive at the Pearson Airport in Toronto tomorrow, and we'll go directly to the horse track, Sun Dizzle. LA Dodgers, 66-32, 31-17 on the road at the Colorado Rockies, 45-55, 29-25 at home. We're at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Julio Urias going up against Chad Kuhl. Urias has been a beast this year. I guess he slipped up a little bit of late, but I've been very impressed with him all season long. His last start, 6 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 5 Ks, 2 walks, and a 4-2 win at home over the Giants. He seems to step up in big games. I guess that's the most important spot. On the road, 5-4, 2.48 ERA, 215 opponents batting average against Chad Kuhl, who's been so good at home in Colorado this year. It's been shocking. 3-2, 3.52 ERA, 249 opponents batting average here. Sean Murphy Journal liking Manoah, the -400 Blue Jays today. What is the implied probability of a -400 that Sean Murphy likes? I think it's a -400 because this is our first -400s of the year, the two of them that we have here. And the implied probability of a -400, and this is why Jose's been fading them, is 80%. Yeah, maybe 8 out of 10 times Manoah would win here. Crazy implied probability for baseball. Crazy. Okay, so here we go. Dodgers versus righties, they smash them. 258, 779 OPS, but not as much as the Rockies versus lefties. 283, 785 OPS. Dodgers bullpen being good all year and getting better of late. The Rockies bullpen is bad in the middle relievers, but the back end is pretty nice. So here we go. Let's talk about the weather. First off, in Colorado, it is possible drizzle and light rain in the first hour and a half or so. 78 Fahrenheit, 7.9 miles per hour left to right. The wind moves around, but it's always going out 7.9 to 6.9 miles per hour. Then we're going to go over to the line history in this one. That was against the, sorry, Dodgers, Rockies here. And let's get this up. We have a big move towards the Dodgers, 25-cent move towards the Dodgers. And this total has moved just 5 cents to the over, 11.5. And when we go to the cash flow in this one, 6,897 tickets in, 11% of the tickets on Colorado and 78% of the cash. Nuts. 50-50 for the total, but 88% tickets on the over. Take it away here, Babano. Dodgers, Rockies.
What's that weather forecast again? Because this might change my mind on what I'm about to do here.
There is a possible drizzle and possible light rain. Let me refresh this and see if it changes here.
Yeah, I'll take a look too, hour by hour. I like looking at hour by hour.
Same here. No, the drizzle's gone and the precipitation's gone. No, yeah, looks good. The latest forecast, good. Thank you for saying that. I always got to refresh at some point because this is the weather report from 3 hours ago. It's
as I always say, make sure you're not looking at the evening forecast in all these ballparks when you're concerned about weather. Make sure you're looking hour by hour and you're specifically looking at the 3-hour stretch when the game is supposed to be played, starting with first pitch time. That's going to give you your accurate indicator, of exactly what the weather's going to be. That's definitely what you want to be doing. But okay, yeah, you're right. I'm seeing the same thing. Doesn't look like it's going to be that bad here tonight at all, and it looks like it's going to be dry. That's good because I like the over. That's what I'm on, 11.5. High number, but I was on the over last night with the Dodgers and the Rockies. I certainly thought the Rockies were going to hit better against their former start. Maybe I should have known Tyler Anderson would be up for that start facing his former team. But it still goes without saying that the Rockies, I still like the way they've hit against left-handed pitching throughout the course of the year. Maybe not quite nearly as good now as, maybe a little bit earlier in the year, but still very good numbers overall, averaging almost 5 runs per game. Julio Urias, the last time he pitched here in Colorado, actually the last 2 times he's pitched here in Colorado, combined 9 runs, 12 hits, and 7.1 innings. He pitched great against the Rockies at Dodger Stadium, but he's had some issues against the Rockies here in this ballpark. And on the flip side, Cool has not been so cool of late for the Colorado Rockies. Now, I don't know how the hell he ended up shutting out and had a complete game 3-hit shutout against the Dodgers back on June 27th. But lately, his form has not been good. He just got crushed for 5 runs in 2.1 innings in his first start back from the break against Milwaukee. He lasted just 4.2 innings and labored against the Padres, 3 runs, 7 hits, gave up 4 runs, 6 hits against Arizona, 5 runs, 7 hits, 5 innings against Arizona. So back-to-back starts, he struggled against the Diamondbacks. He's given up 5 homers in the last 4 games. He's not pitched well, and the Dodgers are obviously pretty good form offensively here, save for maybe 1 or 2 games against Washington there, the one game they got held down. But other than that, their offense is in pretty good form at the moment. So I like over the total here.
Over the total, you have it 11.5. I found a minus 108. Wonder if I can beat that here. No, because it's moved to 12 at Circa. So there you go. We are off and rolling. 3 games left on today's board. Let's fire away. Johnny Gunn says, how do you check implied probability? There's a calculator that I use here.
Yep.
So I use the calculator. And you know what? Hit me on DM, Johnny Guns. Let me know your Twitter handle so that I know I follow you, and then I can give you all that information, because the only site I'd really like to promote here is Pub Sports Radio. So I'd prefer not to promote the other. So hit me on Twitter so I can do it privately. All right, 9:38 p.m. Eastern. Next up, Texas Rangers 44-54, 23-28 on the road at Los Angeles Angels 42-57, 22-28 at home. We're at Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. I know people questioned the Spencer Howard birthday stuff. They questioned it yesterday, pitching in California. But the cash put money in my pocket, and it was Singer's birthday, and look what he did against the Yankees. Interesting psychological spots. And there's Jeff Shahadi. He says, my birthday's tomorrow. Does that qualify for a birthday pick? You're damn right it does, Jeff. Although it is Pistol Pete Loshak that makes those special, so don't expect the glory that Pistol Pete delivers us. And let's get that right there. Okay, Leroy Flood said, anyone in the chat, would you take a shot with Royals, Tigers today? Moneyline our first 5. We're going to hear from Jose Bouquet, who loves those spots very much. We'll see if he moves on them. But you'll have to watch Say Hey Plays of the Day because he was commentating. He was the play-by-play man at the Foxy Boxing in Diamond Strip Club in San Antonio, Texas last night. Didn't come out at 6:30 in the morning. Don Max says Rangers first 5. Semi-Comer says all over Texas here, man. We already heard that Jay Peasy for Sheezy is on these Texas Rangers as well. And let's start with the weather here in Anaheim, 75 Fahrenheit, 8.3 miles per hour out to center. It's very offensive weather. Dies down to 6.3, but very offensive weather. Then let's look at the line history here. Perez, Sandoval, no movement. Angels opening up at minus 115. That's where they stand right now. From a total perspective, it opened up minus 115 to the under 7.5, and it hasn't moved there either. So let's see if it's just coin flip types of situations here with the cash flow. They have given Martin Perez, I'd say 25% line value, maybe 20% line value. And 79% of the tickets are on Martin Perez and 99% of the cash. Why would there be no movement? 49% of tickets, 78% cash on the under. Very, very, very strange. Very strange. Jacksonville so said it's not exact, but implied probability is pretty close. Minus 150%, minus 260, minus 370, minus 480. Not exact though. Yeah, no, you're right. Absolutely right. T-Max says, is Pistol alive after Dabby Cap show? Yes, he's in Las Vegas right now. Pistol Pete Loshak is in Las Vegas. Okay, Perez, Sandoval. The market is telling me that Sandoval is going to have a nice start, even though he's been touched of late, but he's been touched against very good baseball teams. Let's go into the teams that have touched Patrick Sandoval of late, because it seemed like he was a big bright spot for these Angels, and then he faced Kershaw in the Highway Series against the Dodgers, and he got touched bad, and seems like things have not gone well since then. So his last 2 starts, he's gone 7 2/3, and he's allowed 9 earned runs, but that's against the Dodgers and the Braves, 2 teams that rake lefties. You can say the Rangers rake lefties too. 246, 758 OPS. Angels versus lefties, 226, 646 OPS. Perez, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, no homer, 6 Ks, 3 walks, and 11-8 win at Oakland last out. Been very good on the road. 4-0, 2.37 ERA, 247 opponent's batting average. Patrick Sandoval, 3 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, no homers, 4 Ks, 2 walks, and 7-2 loss to the Braves. Angels don't hit lefties. Rangers rake, and both bullpens are below average. Rangers bullpen look good all year, but are slowing down. Take it away now for us, Babano. Rangers, Angels.
Going around in circles. I want to fade Perez. I don't think he's going to be as good in the second half, even though he's pitched well the last 2 starts. Remember, he was showing a few starts right before the break where he was struggling a little bit, getting hit a little bit more. And I still think Patrick Sandoval is a better pitcher than he's shown the last couple starts. So I kind of want to bet on him, and I kind of want to bet against Perez. I lean Angels, but they can't hit a lick. And now the Trout news, which is just an absolute downer, I think, for the entire team. Hearing that the back issues, and these are becoming career-threatening and career concerning long-term for Mike Trout as well. Over-under, back and forth. So I'm staying off.
There's been no Angel money, JPZ, but the line not moving. Sports Insight saying that there is 80% of tickets, 99% of cash. Wow, this is strange that their books are begging for more Texas cash. So do you expect Patrick? I can't expect. Look, I do expect Patrick Sandoval to have a bounce back spot, but the Rangers hit lefties hard. I wouldn't want to bet. Would you be comfortable? Obviously, you're not. It's your lean is Sandoval having a bounce back.
Yeah, I think he can be capable. Now, I don't like the fact the Rangers do hit lefties well. You know, their numbers against lefty pitching has been good. It's just I want to kind of go against Perez here, you know, as we move along. So I actually probably would lean over here, but I'm not betting the Angels over. I can't remember the last time I bet an Angels game over the total. And they're 4 straight unders. And usually when they score 4 runs max. And sometimes their pitching's good enough to hold down the other team as well. And they've been an under machine. So that's why I can't move on the over. And I can't move on the Angels because Sandoval struggled, even though I want to fade Texas. But I respect Texas against lefties. As you can see, it's just one of those games, and you have these games every now and then, especially every day when you're capping a sport where you're going round in circles. That's what I'm doing with this game.
Speaking of Anaheim, the Anaheim Ducks have signed Josh Klingberg, 1 year, $7 million, and
I think you mean John Klingberg,
John,
the defenseman.
yeah.
Come on here. Breaking news here. You can't screw it up here.
He's
Jose, let's go.
Feeling last night. That's a big signing for them, though. I'm surprised.
Wow.
Yeah,
So finally
apparently he's the top
Klingberg is off
defenseman.
the board. Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
And apparently, according to Hector Gomez, the Nationals are going to make Juan Soto one final offer, and they're going to ship him off before the deadline if he rejects it. So that's fucking crazy.
Wow, Anaheim Ducks, man. And I was high on Anaheim going into next season to be improved, and with that talent and McTavish and coming on board, of course. And then you've got Terry and you've got Zegras there already. And you brought in Ryan Strome, who's got playoff experience, a good top 6 fit with that team. And you've got Drysdale on the blue line. You've got Fowler still. And now you add Klingberg. Wow. Anaheim. Gibson, get your head out of your ass. Give them some goaltending next year. And you've got a decent little hockey team there now.
Doesn't it feel like Gibson's 36?
Yes.
When I was like, what? He's only 28?
Yeah, I know. It feels like he's been in the league for at least a decade. But he got into the league very young. Remember that. Yep.
I can't wait to talk hockey. There's so much to talk about because I cannot fathom the goaltending decisions that the Leafs have made. Like I can't comprehend. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You have Marner and Austin Matthews, and you're not going to go all. It's like they haven't gone all in. It's just appalling.
We got Matt Murray, who's played 88 games in the last 3 years, and it's funny they're talking about how his playoff track record is. Can we get there first? Can he be healthy enough to play? And then you've got Samsonov off a year where he was so bad Washington didn't even tender an offer to him, and that's what the Leafs are going with next year.
I love it. I love it because I'm not a Leafs fan, so I love it. But wild. Okay, let's keep rolling. We are staying off of that Rangers-Angels game. 9:40 p.m. Eastern, Minnesota Twins 52-46, 25-24 on the road at San Diego Padres, 55-45, 25-21 at home Petco Park in San Diego, California. This is a really fun one. Joe Ryan going up against Blake Snell. Blake Snell's made me a lot of money over the last month. You know, it was that start against the Dodgers when I was like, I think he's going to step up here, and I've been riding him, and he's been making me money. His last start, 2-1 win at the Mets. I mean, he's just pitching well. 5 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, 5 Ks, 2 walks, and a 2-1 win. He's not really stepped up at home. I mean, this has only been a few starts that he's been turning it around. He's got a lot of work to do. And Joe Ryan has looked a little more susceptible, but he's still having a very good season. 7-3, 2.89 ERA, 1.05 whip, 73 Ks, 23 walks, and 5 home runs. In his last start, he went 5 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 7 Ks, 1 walk, an 8-4 win at Detroit. On the road, he's been good. His splits are good. And it's impressive for a young pitcher. 4-1, 2.70 ERA, 232 opponents batting average. All right, and both bullpens are so similar right now. There's been times when we thought the Padres were going to show they were a top 10 bullpen, but they just haven't been able to keep the continuity there. Twins do hit lefties hard, 249, 723 OPS, while the Padres just 249, 723 OPS. Moose Money says Snell has looked so much better recently, and last year took the same trend. Figured it out as the season went on. Yeah. I liked it. I like it. Okay, let's talk about the line history here. Now, I'm saying that I've not moved on this game, but I have thought there was value with Snell. There's been a 10-cent move towards Snell. There had been a 5-cent move towards the Twins by 1:30 in the morning. It's moved back to the Padres. From a total standpoint, there's been a 10-cent move to the over. Open at 7.5 minus 110. Now it's over 7.5 minus 120. Let's see if the cash follows suit here. 5,636 tickets in, and we have 64% of tickets, 65% of cash on the Twins. Market moving in the other direction. 53% of tickets, 98% of cash on the over. Interesting. Let's see what the weather is. If there's no marine, I guess there's no marine layer. It's warm, very warm in San Diego for them. 72 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 7 miles per hour out to right field, left to right, slightly out to right field, dies down to 5.1. Take it away, Babano. Second last game on the card, Twins Padres.
It's Twins double up for me. First 5 full game in this. I like the Twins here. I don't trust Snell still. And by the way, the Twins hit lefties, they hit fastball pitchers, and Snell throws that a lot. And I think you're going to see definitely the Twins do. And Twins get a day off. Things didn't go well the last 2 games against Milwaukee. You got the San Diego Padres, I believe, too. It's a negative spot for them in terms of, I believe, they're returning home off a road trip. Yes, they are. Mets, Detroit on the East Coast, and now they're back home. Don't always love those spots, especially when it was a long road trip. I like the Twins, and I like Joe Ryan. I think Joe Ryan can come in here, pitch pretty well. His numbers still overall for the season are pretty solid. His xERA is even better than his overall ERA, which tells you he's probably should even be his numbers, his ERA should actually be a little bit better than it's been. So I like Minnesota here. First 5 in a full game split for me.
All right. We can give you a nice first 5 on the Twins, plus 113, which is the highest here we can find. And then a plus 115 at Bookmaker. Thank you for sharing that with us, Billy, my guy. All right. Interesting here. Interesting. I guess I'll just stay off. A lot of people are agreeing with you. Moose Money saying our bullpen is a roller coaster. We go way up and then way down. We do get quite a bit of help coming back soon, hopefully. Moose Money, are you moving on this one? I'd love to hear. Danzo says Blake Snell is in the bottom 5 pitchers in the whole league, worst record first 5 innings. Johnny Gunn says boots on the ground weather report in San Diego. Very clear skies, sun is shining. It's about low 70s. It's going to be a beautiful night for baseball.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, he's been good, Joe Ryan. Yeah, it's a great number. LJ from H-Town, their 2.05 ERA last 4 starts. Look at the win-loss record. You know, you make money with Joe Ryan. You burn money with Blake Snell. You know, 10-5 overall. Ryan in his starts, Minnesota, 5-2 on the road. Snell's just 1-4 in 5 home starts at Petco. 2-9, the San Diego Padres in Snell's 11 starts overall. So just looks like bet on versus bet against right here.
TJ says, look at Minnesota's progression versus left-handed pitching. They get better and better as the season goes. Snell's a walk machine. Don't buy one good start from Snell.
That's true. 5.4 walks per 9 for Snell. Not good. That's terrible.
Big
Horrible.
play on Minnesota for me. Big, says TJ. Wow. Don Max says Minnie doesn't strike out for lefties and walks a ton. Snell is in trouble. Wow. Okay. Jeff Gurley says, do you ever take underdogs to me? Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at, of course. Why wouldn't I? What makes you think that I don't take underdogs?
What on earth makes someone think Jimmy doesn't take any underdogs? Have you seen him in hockey where he's been trying to, or this past season where he's been trying to take some, or basketball plus the points, football plus the points?
I'll pull up. It's interesting that you say that. Let's just take a look at my MLB spreadsheet here. Here we go.
Trust me, he's taking some underdogs. I know.
I'm just under 400 bets on the season. And I got the Reds first 5 plus 120. Reds, Babano's been really nice with the Reds. I have them first 5 here, plus 145, plus 120, plus 125. Cubs first 5 here at plus 110. This is all in the last 2 weeks. Athletics first 5 plus 160. Tigers full game plus 100. Rockies first 5 plus 130. I did a double up in that Tigers doubleheader about 3 weeks ago. First 5 plus 115 and full game plus 115. Red Sox first 5 plus 135. Guardians full game plus 105. Marlins first 5 at plus 145. This is in the last month. Nationals first 5 plus a half at plus 110. Cubs first 5 plus 100. Okay. So that scared me. I was like, Jesus, what the hell have I not been? Okay. Let's move on here. We have a double up spot from the Twins. First 5 plus 113 and full game plus 115. Okay, we're going to move on to the final game on the card. And I did move on this. I took the first 5 under 4 at minus 115. And let's see what it is now in this one. It is minus 120. So let's move 5 cents in my direction. That's what I want to see and here. All right, Cubs, Giants, Oracle Park, Stroman versus Cobb. Interesting splits with both these pitchers that really work in the favor of moving on the under here. Stroman has been so good on the road, and he's been so terrible at Wrigley. On the road, 2-2, 2.31 ERA, 199 opponent's batting average. And the same deal with Cobb at home. He's 2-4, 3.02 ERA, 238 opponent's batting average. Let's start with the weather in San Francisco. And it's 56 Fahrenheit, 10.6 miles per hour out to left center, dies down to 9.7, and it swirls at Oracle. That doesn't bother me. It doesn't make me think it's offensive weather. It's such a nice pitcher's ballpark, regardless, almost. If we look at the line of history here, there's been a 5-cent move to the Cubs. They've gone from plus 125 to plus 120. From a total perspective, there's just been a 5-cent move to the under. Let's take a look at the cash flow in this one. We have 4,753 tickets in, and it's Giants cash coming in. 73% of tickets, 94% of the cash. Then 51% of the tickets, 97% of cash on the under. That makes me a little nervous that it's not moving further towards the under. It makes me a little nervous. Neither team hits righties hard. Cubs are decent, 247, 712. Giants, 236, 93. Both bullpens I don't trust. So I moved on the first 5 under 4 minus 115. Babano, last game on the card, Cubs, Giants, take it away.
This is a tricky one. I want to back the Giants a little bit in Cobb because I think Cobb's going to actually have some positivity in terms of his stats moving forward. I think he's better than his overall ERA because if you look at it, there's a lot of those peripherals like FIP, XFIP, XERA, BABIP, all those kind of advanced numbers that point to the fact that Cobb probably should have better numbers than he does, which means he's been a little bit unlucky. I think you're going to probably see him. I wanted to back him in the Giants tonight, but at the end of the day, you're talking about minus 140, minus 145 on a team that's won one game in their last 8. And they snapped the losing streak last night, obviously against the Cubs 4-2. And, sometimes, but the flip side of that is a lot of times teams that are on a losing streak, they win a game. Sometimes they go on at least a mini run, win a couple, string a few wins in a row together. I don't think I trust Stroman quite as much, although last 3 starts, he hasn't given up a ton. He also didn't pitch deep into a couple of those games earlier this month. He only went 4 innings against the Dodgers. He only went 4.1 innings against his old team, the New York Mets. And then last start against the Phillies. Did pitch well, probably his best start. 1 run, 5 hits, 6 innings against Philadelphia in his last start. We'll see if he can carry that over here. His numbers have been solid. And that's another reason I'm a little bit hesitant to lay this kind of price with the Giants. I'd lean Giants. I still trust Cobb a little bit more at home. But I'm not at this price. I'm going to stay off. And I really don't hate that first 5 under. I could see it being a low-scoring start.
Yeah, so do I. I quite like it. I was hoping I could really be the market move there, but all good. Okay, so we're going to review all action. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show and being here with us. It's been a long one. And Jeff Shahadi's birthday is tomorrow. So it will be birthday pick time. Now, another thing we are doing, this is new to the show, Babano, is the 3 of us, you, myself, and Jose, are putting together our best bet in a parlay every day. The parlay, and we just started this yesterday. The parlay was a plus 502 parlay. It lost.
Classic. Hands up. Hands up.
Mine hit.
I think all of us did then.
Mine hit. Mine fucking hit. My leg hit. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna start doing this, and I'm gonna track it and see how we do on it. So let's go. Here we go. Birthday pick first from Babano and myself for Jeff Shahadi, and then we will. Actually, all 3 of us give Jeff Shahadi a birthday pick, and then we'll.
Let me tell you, Jeff Shahadi does not want my birthday pick right now. Jeff, watch Say Hey Plays, and you'll get a birthday pick, please.
Would you like to move on you have to move on the parlay with us, so.
Oh, I mean, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
All right, let's go. Birthday picks from Babano and I. Let's review all action and then give out the birthday pick. So in CFL, I'm going heads up with some monsters here. I'm on the Riders. Babano's on the Lions. We each don't have Vig, so that's good. I got a bad line on the Stamps, but I don't care. Well, I care. Shouldn't say that. But I still believe in the Stamps. -1 and +100 is what I got on Tuesday, I believe. Then Babano and I are both on the Redblacks. Tell me it hasn't moved any more than it did. Let me just quickly go over there. 4.5 still. Okay, that's fine. All right. So that's our CFL action. 19-11 on the season. Now let's go over our picks. Dabby Cab is on the Braves first 5 run line. Braves team total over 5. Astros first 5. Astros team total over 3.5. And the Twinkies team total over 3.5. Viper did move on the Braves minus 1.5 before the show started. Chad Lehman is also on the Braves first 5. Brewers first 5. Cardinals first 5. Astros first 5. Twins plus a half first 5. Rangers plus a half first 5. Babano gets his card started. So think about your best bet here when we go through them all. And if any additions you want to make, Babano. Orioles team total over 4.5 at minus 135. Then he's on the Marlins first 5 at minus 105. There's my guy Coco Bongo in the house. Jeff Gourley saying Kim Clavel decision, Jimmy, easy money. Well, I will copy and paste that, Jeff, so I can peruse it at my leisure. Let me just pop that in here. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Then Babano's on the Marlins first 5 minus 105. Lamont Williams, max bets Miami under 6.5. And I'm interested still in that Marlins first 5. Royals, Yankees, we stayed off. Babano is on the Pirates team total over 3.5 at minus 119. I'm going to be moving on the Pirates first 5. Babano is on the St. Louis, Washington over 9 at plus 105. I'm going to move on the first 5 under. I'm going to move on the first 5 under in that one. I'm moving on the under 8.5 in Tigers, Blue Jays. Joe Yurkovich is on Philadelphia, Pittsburgh over 8. And he's on that New York, Miami first 5 tie plus 370. I think that's a really sharp idea. Worth a little flyer on New York, Miami, first 5 tie. We know that both pitchers are going to pitch well. He's getting plus 370 on that risk. I like it. Oh, and that's tonight. That's boxing. Oh, thank you, Jeff. Thank you for clarifying that for me. I was just thinking UFC. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Then we have the Rays. I moved on the Rays first 5 minus 110 and the Cleveland Tampa Bay first 5 over 3 at minus 125. And I wish I had doubled up on that first 5 over 3. I knew it was a winning bet, or I thought I was going to beat the line movement, and I expected to be the most confident in this look. Babano's on the over 6.5 at minus 118. Babano is on the Red Sox first 5 minus a half at minus 115. Oh, sorry, that's the Brewers.
Brewers, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, thank
I
you.
knew you meant Brewers, yeah.
No, but I had written Red Sox, so thank God I said that. It's important to say these things out loud. Brewers first 5 minus a half, minus 115, minus 1.5 at plus 102, and the over 9 at minus 110. The taint play of the day is the Braves run line. We heard all the other cappers on the Braves as well. Babano's on the Braves first 5 minus a half. I'm moving on the first 5 under 5. I'm moving on the first 5 under 4.5 in Oakland White Sox. Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play of the day is on the White Sox. A would-be Babano under, which I'm now tracking, would be a first 5 full game on Mariners Astros under, first 5 4 full game at 7.5. Babano's on the over 11.5 at minus 108 in Dodgers Rockies. We stayed off of Rangers Angels. You doubled up on the Twins, Babano. First 5 plus 113, full game plus 115. And I'm on the Cubs Giants. First 5 under 4 at minus 115. Best bet on the board, Babano, is what?
Cleveland, Tampa Bay over 6.5. I'm going to go with that. I think that's just far too low. That's Bieber as an ace type of total. Bieber ain't an ace right now.
Cleveland, Tampa Bay. Just to do a quick walk.
That is pretty surprising. It's Springs, right? Is the other side? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's surprising. I still haven't looked at the lines.
Okay.
Now, he's been great numbers at home, Springs and Tampa Bay at the Trop, but there's regression, I think. Based, if you look at his numbers, negative regression should be on the way for him.
Okay, Cleveland, Tampa Bay over 6.5 minus 118 is what we found it at. Jeff Slaughter has a look. Slaughterhouse, a soccer play cashed yesterday. He's on Friul Constanta. Team total over 1.5 at plus 130 for the Slaughterhouse soccer play.
He's cranking out those soccer parlays. I mean, it's
he's
doing quite well.
It's uncanny.
You don't have to love the sport. You know, if you want, it's money to be made. You bet it.
TJ's play today is on the Twinkies.
Yep.
Okay, so Jose, what is your parlay piece?
Well, Jim, it's come to that time again. We remember what happened a fateful day ago, a couple months, I don't know how long ago it was, but a large underdog stepped into the octagon and took on the whole country of Brazil and fucking choked her fucking ass out. I'm talking to you, Amanda Nunes, you fucking coward. You lost in round 2 last time out. You fucking folded like a piece of paper, and Juliana Pena took your belt. The Venezuelan Vixen is fighting Amanda Nunes again this weekend, Saturday, I think it is. I don't know what day it is today, actually.
Main event.
Actually, I know it's Friday because I'm seeing Bobano's smiling face. But Juliana Pena is a plus 210 at least, because I got it at 210 yesterday, so it's around 200. Around 200 underdog against Amanda Nunes in the rematch fight. My man Clint, who I had on the show yesterday, who I realize might not know the say hey guest concept, and he was on for UFC only, and he skedaddled, which was very funny. But shout out to him. He gave us good UFC insights. I've got UFC bets for this weekend now that I'm excited about. And Amanda Nunes is going down. She's got nothing for my girl Juliana Pena. So Juliana Pena money line plus 200-ish.
It does feel like it's a big number on her.
Is this going to be a say hey play too?
Oh yeah.
Okay, locked in.
And this is the main event, which is great. I love that it's the main event. You got a women's fight as the main event. It's good.
And I would say, Jimmy, you can make this a say hey record, but I know I'm not going to see that record ever again. I cashed with the Tie Cats with you guys.
Yes, you did.
Yes, Oski Mui. Yeah.
Let's go Hammy, the Tiger Cat, but I'm on Juliana Pena. That's my parlay piece. Let's fucking go.
I like it. I would say
Ticats, by the way, the only team in the CFL with their own dedicated 24/7 audio network. It's phenomenal. I mean, you could just they basically give you Ticat like news every day. It's fantastic. They got Andy Fantuz and Marwan Hayes and Courtney Stephen, all these guys involved.
Right here. Inject it right here. I want it right here.
That's why I know so much. They keep me up to date.
I am going to give out for my piece, parlay piece. Cashed mine yesterday. Going to cash this again. The Tampa Bay Rays first 5 minus 110. Tampa Bay Rays first 5 minus 110.
All right, so you're also using Cleveland, Tampa Bay for the parlay, but you're doing the side. Yep.
So there you have it. Both of our birthday picks also in Cleveland, Tampa Bay, and Jose going with Juliana Pena. I love it. T-Max says need a new bottle of liquor for tonight. Any suggestions? Yes.
Don't.
I suggest my friend Kraken. I've not tasted since the Friday horse racing show where I got a little sloppy.
That's a horrible idea. Don't do that.
Do it. Happy birthday tomorrow, Jeff. Enjoy it, my man. Love.
Yeah, happy birthday. Enjoy it.
Birthday. Yep. Shout out to all you guys: Jeff Shahadi, Mike M, Mark Schillingberg, T-Mac, Danny Lopez, Jeff Gurley, Danzo, Billy Friedrich. What a guy Billy Friedrich is. Puzzler, we think of you, and we open every show to giving you love, man. And I will see you this weekend. Puzzler, I'll come visit. Dizzy Rothstein, Jay Peasy, have an incredible weekend in San Diego, your birthday weekend. Bill McDonald says, what's the CFL look today? We're on different sides of the ship here.
You're not on Ottawa?
Oh, we're both on Ottawa. I almost made Ottawa my parlay piece. I probably should have.
Yeah, you can get it away from a little same gamer, so there you go. Not everyone can do the over in the first half, so there's your little second parlay piece if you're interested.
Mike M, Woo, Riza, TJ, R2D2, Finland, Joe Yurkovich, Coin. What a great group. Jarek White, thank you. Gerardo Hernandez, Nasty Nate, Phillies Moneyline Big for Nasty Nate, Coco Bongo. Thank you guys. There's B-Lab 69. B-Lab in the house. Yeah, B-Lab. Thank you for tracking those full value spots because we had 3 losers yesterday, but huge dogs. And
they were all close. Fucking. Oh my God. I fucking lost a stake bet to Ragu last night. Fuck. That was so fucking annoying.
That was so close. I don't understand why you didn't just take the run line.
Because I'm a fucking dumb bitch, Jimmy.
You're not a dumb bitch. You get very confident, and we respect that. But you could.
That is true.
You could have taken the +1.5 because it was the same. It was a pick'em price, right?
Probably, yeah. And Regrew would have taken it because he's a man of honor.
Yeah.
You know, I have a question. I have a question. You know, I'll ask Ian this because I'm sure. Ian, are you close to Montreal?
Not that
No.
close. No.
We're not close. No,
Okay, well, who's closer out of the two of you?
I'm a little
Jimmy,
close.
but slightly, and he's still
Yeah.
far away. You're talking like
Okay.
I'm
Okay,
5.5
well,
hours
I'm
to
looking
4
at
hours.
a question about strip clubs. You know,
Yeah.
why when a stripper is doing her thing, why do they do the leg and they start like clapping and start making like gunshot noises with the heels? Why is that?
It's exciting.
Okay,
That's why.
that's all you need to say.
They need something to get the crowd wooing and
Yeah,
like
man.
pumped up and hooting and hollering, and
Yeah, man.
that gets people fired up. That gets the
It
guys
gets the
going.
people going.
Yep, it
Yeah,
does.
Montreal is a wild city for strip clubs.
Provocative.
Full contact dances, very cheap.
That's the one city you don't go in there and say, "Hey, strip club, Montreal. You guys better change the way you're doing things." No, that's the one city you don't say something about that. Yeah.
I still am puzzled at the full contact because I'm like, are these not full contact? What is full contact if these aren't full contact? I'm confused. I need some guidance and I can see Jimmy sweat. From Okay,
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, Jimmy, when the Canadian tour happens, we're doing the Texas tour, obviously, October, September. When the Canadian tour comes around, we'll hit Montreal.
Montreal's the strip club capital of Canada. It's not even close. Yeah.
You
not
can
even.
teach me a thing or two.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Yes, we'll talk more about it. Definitely talk more about it. It's time to put a bow on this bad boy. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Jose, my producer. Thank you, Jeff Slaughter. Thank you to all the cappers supporting the show. Shout out to XCal360, Dizzy Rothstein. Thank you for the love, you guys.
The show started today, Jimmy. Proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm getting better. Babano, could you leche us into the future, my friend?
We can. Have a great weekend, everybody. Jose, Jimmy, you too. Thanks for joining us. Hit that like button. Very important. Support the channel. Support the shows. Pub Sports Radio. Let's all have a big weekend. Profits. Lots of fun. Lots of booze in my case as well. It's going to be a great weekend. And good luck. Enjoy the games and good luck. Cash some tickets. And leche and los bookmakers.